Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk, straight from their jocks about the jocks. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, alongside me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Autos? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know Show. Oh, my God. Turkey Day's tomorrow, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving out there to you all. And if you're new to the show, if you're just clicking in, you want to see what we're all about here, listen, we're your football therapists for all you out there. Go ahead and you can search us up, Football on the Know Show, on YouTube or Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, as well as hit that notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. You can also follow us on Twitter at FB_know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so Thanksgiving coming up. This is our fourth year doing it, Joe. I mean, this is pretty crazy stuff. It's been a long time, but we enjoy doing it. A lot of things we're thankful for out there. Like we said in the beginning, we're thankful for all of you guys out there joining with us tonight and making us what we are, what we've been. Happy Thanksgiving from Florida. There he is. Joe Maddie's in the house with us, or Paul Maddie's in the house. Sorry, Paul. Trying to do multiple things here at the same time. And I got to hit you up with the DJ horn, too, as well. Brandon Matthews in the house. Joe better be dropping off that plate to me tomorrow. There you go. He said, yo, give me that stuff.
There we go.
Man.
There we
give
go.
me that stuff. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, so Thanksgiving, the day, the games are going to be on. It's going to be exciting there.
Yeah.
But talk about exciting. This past weekend, more upsets, Joe. I mean, every year we talk about it, or every week we talk about it, and how there's different, maybe this is the parity that the NFL wanted for once.
For sure.
But what we saw this week, I think, was off the chain. With the Houston, the Texans getting Tyrod Taylor back in there.
Yeah.
What a difference that made. I mean, if your name was associated with Taylor at all this past weekend, you lit it up.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor, and this is the thing, too, is like early on in the season, before he got injured, we all saw him come out and do his thing. He was actually making them a competitive team, and quite honestly, it was a surprise to some, but not to everybody. And we know that Tyrod Taylor brings a solid presence at that quarterback position for the Houston Texans. We just didn't know how well this team overall was going to perform. And with Tyrod at the helm, you can't say no to him. I mean, listen, every time he's gotten the opportunity to start for the Texans, which hasn't been very many, he's actually delivered, and again, they went into Tennessee now. It wasn't like they were playing at home and they had the crowd behind them. No, they went into Tennessee and stole a game from the Tennessee Titans that have been, coming out like gangbusters this season. They were 8-2 prior to this matchup, and now they take an L, and now they're 8-3.
Yeah, definitely. And Brandon Matthews says right there, he's been underrated his whole career. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he really wasn't able to get really a chance there for the Chargers too when he was with them and had that rib injury. Yeah. And all they wanted was to hopefully get that Tyrod Taylor that Buffalo had those few years back. And he comes back here healthy for the Texans, able to show what he is able to do for them, and pulls out an upset win against the Tennessee Titans team, to where this is the thing that analysts and everybody has been trying to ask people, or even try and figure out the whole season, is who is the top team in the AFC? Who is the true leader of this? What are we looking at? It's got to be maybe the Titans right now. If you look at the teams that they've beaten, they beat the Buffalo Bills, they beat the Chiefs, they beat a bunch of people here, and now they fall to the Texans. Like, how does this happen? Just when you think you know what's going on, another leader gets shot down. Galore Finetto in the house with us tonight, and he says, "Go Cowboys!" Right there, Cowboys fans in the house.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Paul Matty says, "I got a Bears, Dallas, and Bills legged parlay tomorrow." So he's got in on the betting tomorrow.
I'm sorry,
man. Well. Bears, I don't know. This is the thing about the Bears.
Listen,
you got Andy Dalton there.
Do you
now.
Do you have that much confidence in Andy Dalton now coming in there and having any kind of a spark from what I saw? Listen, don't get me wrong. He had a nice pass to Danny Mooney down the sideline or whatever, and it was all nice and well and good. But I'm not really sure if he's going to be the go-to guy. Now that Fields isn't available. Listen, we saw his struggles early on in the season, and there were, everybody was like, why isn't Fields starting? We saw some sparks from him. We saw some highlighted plays from him in preseason leading up to the regular season, and by all accounts, it looked like Fields was going to earn the job and just outbeat Andy Dalton, but Matt Nagy had something else to say about that and said, no, Andy Dalton is my guy. We're sticking with him, and we've seen, him go up and down, in terms of gameplay. Now you're bringing in Fields is injured, which is the reason why he won't be available to the Bears. But now Andy Dalton steps in. What's to say that Andy Dalton is not going to perform as well as people are hoping that he can? And we've seen it time and time again. Listen, he's no stranger to having his own faults with the Cincinnati Bengals coming up short in big games. And he's moved on. He played 1 year in Dallas, and he did okay in Dallas, but not good enough for even the Cowboys to re-sign him. And now he moves on to the Bears. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Andy Dalton as the quarterback for the Bears. I don't think he gives them any kind of spark, any kind of unique trait for this Bears offense to kind of excel. And I feel like they're going to struggle a little bit tomorrow. On Thursday's game, and you're going to put all the weight back on the shoulders of the defense and say, hey, come bail us out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you never know because, again, we've seen this game back and forth with the Bears. Shout out to Jim Radley in the house with us tonight, too, watching us on YouTube. And we got
Jim?
a lot of stuff going on down here. Brandon Matthew, let's catch up with some of this. He says, don't sleep on the New England Patriots. And yes, I mean, that's one of the things that the teams that have been really impressive right now and keep getting better week to week. And I said this last week when we looked at the remaining schedule when it came to them and the Bills, I really thought New England now has a better route to the end of this season here to make it a push for this division and into the playoffs. And even with that upset loss now by the Bills, it looks that much worse for them. So they will have to try and be a wild card team, I think, moving forward, moving in for them. And now they're talking about he had the bets too as well. Brandon, he's talking to Paul out there, and they're in the Bears game. He's got the red rifle too also here. The red rifle is in the house. So, yeah, that game, again, I mean, that game is going to be a stinker probably. Who knows what you're going to get out of this. And maybe perhaps the Detroit Lions will end up getting their first win here against the Red Rifle.
They
himself,
have – this is like
we're not sure.
Yeah, this is their second best opportunity to get a
Yeah,
W.
right? That's what it is. You got to get it on certain opportunities. Yeah. All right, one of the other games you wanted to bring up here when we bring about Buffalo here and how we thought maybe they're going to bounce back from this season here, or from this week here, after last week's terrible, really performance here, and come through. And you got the Colts. It was, the Colts are a really competitive team, and they're really good. And really, when we looked forward into this, we had to say the game plan first has to be stop Jonathan Taylor. The Colts offense goes through Jonathan Taylor. The run game, you got to stop him. With this defense, thought we were going to be able to do it. And it didn't happen at all. You guys saw it. Jonathan Taylor, for fantasy owners, love it. Still lighting it up. He's been doing it this whole season, week to week, and nobody's stopping him right now. Now, with Derrick Henry out of the game and not being able to play, he has now showed himself as one of those true, maybe best running backs in the league right now as well.
Oh, absolutely. And there was no question with Derrick Henry, being listed as one of those elite type of running backs right now. However, there is a little bit of a good news. There's a little bit of rumors swirling about from Tennessee saying that Derrick Henry could possibly be ready come January. He could possibly be ready for the playoffs, which is going to be a huge, huge uplift for that team. I mean, he is the heart and soul of that offense. There's no question about that. But then, and then you got just recently, Adrian Peterson gets cut. Mm-hmm. So with Peterson being shown the door, exit stage left, get out, Adrian. They've had enough of him, and they have some young, athletic type of running backs now that are taking over, and they're doing the job. So we'll see where Tennessee ends up because they still got a long ways to go without Derrick Henry. Can they sustain the winning? Can they keep it going? Enough to reach to win the division first of all, and then in the playoffs depending on when they can get Henry, there's no guarantee that he comes back, for them the first game in the playoffs. It could be maybe AFC Championship game if they can make it there, and maybe is when they get him back or something like that. And if that's the case, let's just hope that they can, keep the train on the tracks.
Brandon Matthews says, I definitely thought AP would have had a bigger impact. And Paul says, was Peterson hurt? I think just he wasn't performing enough. Again, he's older too. I mean, what do you expect out of a guy at that age too, to even be able to be physically able to come back and play in that first game when he came and suited up and everything? I thought was impressive. But again, running backs, they get their wear and tear. He made miraculous comebacks before after major injuries, but for now, you can't stop Father Time either. So I mean, it's not happening.
I also think that the other part of it is that they really didn't need him now.
Yeah,
now that they know that the running backs that they have in the backfield are like, well, do we really need AP? Like, we'll just stick with the younger guys. You know what I mean? And they've kind of just moved on from it.
Absolutely. And then, any other upsets you want to talk about here, Joe? We've got the Titans here that we talked about, and the Buffalo Bills.
The only game that would have been worthy of talking about is if the Giants could have somehow figured out a way to beat Tampa. That would have been the only game. But other than that, I feel like all the games kind of went the way we thought they would, or at least they were close enough. It could have went either way.
All right. So let's head to it now. So the major news that comes out of the NFL after Monday night's game, if that's what you want to call it here, was Jason Garrett now is fired here by the New York Giants. So now
it's all your fault.
Oh yeah. So now the fans get what they've been wanting. I mean, people have been asking for this for a while now. The fans have been cheering for Jason Garrett to be fired finally. They're sick and tired of the offense. The Giants aren't putting up points. They are the worst in the red zone at this point. Consecutive years of 31st, 32nd offense in the league. And Daniel Jones just looks bad. I mean, yes, it's the offensive line too as well. Jones as a quarterback himself. But, again, when it comes into crunch time or certain things, it seems like Garrett's not really helping out the offense at all. You know what I'm saying? Like looking deep when you probably shouldn't be. And, runs up the middle when it's like, the team knows what you're going to do at that point. And just not a whole lot of mixing it up.
I will say this. I don't put the blame on Jason Garrett by far. I mean, here's the thing. You got to also kind of take into consideration the environment that Garrett just came into as an offensive coordinator. They haven't had a stout offensive line in God knows when. You know what I mean? It's been forever since the Giants had that one of those big behemoth type of linemen, across the board, and then able to push guys around to do whatever they wanted to. So you're coming in with a weak offensive line. They just add all these weapons to a new offense. Everybody's learning. Everybody's developing more chemistry. Kenny Galladay comes onto the team. Nobody knows what happened to Darius Slayton. It seems like he fell off the face of the earth. And then when he gets opportunities, at times he does tend to drop the ball. And this offense was still kind of in flux a little bit. This offense was still trying to get a hold of an identity of some kind of rhythm, and they just couldn't find it. And for the Giants to just go ahead and pull the trigger now and say, okay, Garrett, you're fired. We've had enough. You can't put the blame on Garrett for Daniel Jones's mistakes and poor decision-making that he's had thus far. I mean, I've been on the Daniel Jones bandwagon for a little while, and I was like, oh, well, maybe the Giants can develop him maybe over a couple seasons, maybe 3 seasons, whatever. He'll get better. He'll get better. The decision-making will come with time, and we'll start to see him trend upward eventually. I haven't seen that yet. I keep seeing the same kind of poor decisions from him, and it's not giving me any confidence anymore in his overall talent, because he has talent. It's not that. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that he hasn't learned from his mistakes over and over and over. And until that happens, he's never going to develop and become that quarterback that the Giants need.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that you bring up here. You see the mistakes. You say, well, let's see if he can, fix some of this. Well, if you keep seeing it time and time again and the same mistakes keep happening, maybe it's just not fixable. That means that person just can't get by that. By the way, here, Brandon Matthew says Daniel Jones stinks.
Brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah, he does. And that's the thing, too. I always try to give guys
Time.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I give them time. I know the offensive line isn't good. I mean, we've watched it. Will Hernandez, bust. Just not very good. Nate Solder was a bad move as well. So already you've got your targets directed towards Dave Gettleman, making those decisions. So he's probably on the chopping block pretty soon. So now that this first hammer has been dropped, mid-season, a little even after, it's kind of funny is like
It's
if
like
you
after
thought,
the halfway point.
I think if the Giants lost to the Raiders coming into that bye week, they would have done the same thing, and at least you had that bye week to try and recuperate and get Freddie Kitchens involved and get a new plan going. But it's kind of funny now after the bye week, you stick with them already, and then now this happens, and that's the last straw. So now you've got to start to rebuild from here right into a short week now because you just played on Monday, and now you have to get back into this. Now, how different will the offense look under Freddie Kitchens? I'm not so sure, but I know that during his time with the Browns, at least as an offensive coordinator, I kind of liked what he was doing, and he had a good rapport with Baker Mayfield. I just hope that he doesn't do so well enough that they want to automatically make him the head coach, because then that didn't go very well.
No.
But at least I like the idea of possibly using Freddie Kitchens there. I don't believe that it's all Jason Garrett's fault, like what you're saying too, as well, because you can also see it on the sidelines. I know as well as being an area leader, things too as well, if people work at jobs and you're in control of other people, other coworkers as well, and you're trying to get somebody to get this, can you get this, blah, 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 and you're watching them, they still make the same mistakes over and over again, and you kind of just look at it like, here, I'm showing you, but man, because you see it going back to the sidelines, Daniel Jones is upset with himself, seeing how it happens, like, man. But then Jason Garrett again just shows him, and I remember he's pointing at the tablet and saying, here, like this, and then showing Jones, and then he over at this sudden when he pulls it away, he's just like, looks away and does this thing, huff and puff, like, man, dude.
Here's
know?
Here's something that I have to address is Garrett also, listen, you definitely can put some blame on him because he's been calling a pretty vanilla offense. He's been calling some predictable plays that a good defensive coordinator or a really good defensive team will identify quickly and attack. And what's hilarious to me is that, listen, I don't claim to know everything about football. I kind of do, but I know that's, I know it's not true. You know what I mean? You can't know everything. But from a coaching standpoint, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm playing the Giants, like we were both at the game, and I'm watching the game, and I'm like, okay, Gus Bradley, for the Raiders. I'm like, why aren't we bringing everybody up in a box and stopping this run game? Because all they kept doing was running up the middle on the Raiders, and the Raiders kept struggling to stop it. So I'm like, you got to bring guys up. You got to stop that run to make them change something on their offense. And it was so funny because it's so predictable. Garrett is calling these plays. He's sending in number 79 is eligible, offensive lineman.
Yes.
Every time that happened, which was a lot.
A lot.
Throughout the whole entire game. It was a run up the middle every time. So I'm like, okay, if 79's eligible, this will run up the middle.
Yeah.
And it happened over and over and over. And I'm like, why aren't you making adjustments to stop this from happening? If a good defense identifies that, they're going to make an adjustment, and they're going to stop that play. You know what I mean? So to me, watching that game alone, I'm like, well, Garrett is so predictable and so vanilla, and they didn't do anything to trick the Raiders. It was just, we're running up the middle, and the Raiders did nothing to do. They made no adjustment to stop that, and that's why the Giants ended up winning that game, is because Raiders refused to make changes. So yeah, I mean, that alone, by seeing it in person and also watching it on TV at home, of course, Garrett did deserve to get fired. Do I think right now is the right time to do it? Not necessarily, because even with Freddie Kitchens now taking over the clipboard now and being the offensive coordinator, guess what? He's going to be calling the offense that's already installed. It's going to be Garrett's offense. He's just going to be calling different plays at different times. That's all that's going to change. So maybe it will be better for the Giants for the short term, but Does this mean like Freddie Kitchens will be the new OC after this year officially, and now he gets to implement his own offense that he once had in Cleveland? We've seen him struggle in Cleveland. What's to say now? Maybe new environment for him. Maybe he's gonna I made some mistakes. Reevaluate his career a little bit and say I'm gonna do things differently in New York. We'll see.
All right. Brandon says Bears and Giants fire their coaches after this week. And then Tom Leiter's announced with us tonight. Tom, one of our buddies here. He says clean house and put the Manning brothers in the front office. New York would be lit. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Imagine that. And they were, I watched the Manning cast for that too, and they were picking out plays too. Like Peyton called the one play in the flat too. Absolutely, when they were down in the red zone. And that's the thing. Like you said, you got these defenses know what they're doing. And what do the Giants not do well? The red zone, absolutely not converting. They kind of have to rely on some of those trick plays to work to get any kind of offense going. I mean, if it wasn't for the deep ball that Kadarius Toney threw, that was the pass interference, they would have never driven the ball down that far before on that just a field goal score. We're not even talking about touchdowns. Paul Matty replying to that, he goes, "I like your idea, Tom Leiter." Yeah, and you talk about that part of the aspect, being unable to score. You're relying on your defense to put up your scores, your biggest scores, your touchdowns, all by your defense. You can't do that. You can't run a team that way. You're not going to win that way, and especially if you're the Giants with the way you guys have been playing all together. And that defense can't do it all, because also that last game, not a whole lot of pass rush. I mean, that offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're good, absolutely. But they were just holding them down. The Giants couldn't get any pressure. And when you're playing zone, you can only hold it so long until Tom Brady's just picking it apart. He loves it.
And that's the problem for the Giants game plan going into that. And, you got to blame the D coordinator on this one, is when you play Tom Brady, it doesn't matter what team he was on, New England or Tampa. If you play man, he tends to struggle with that. So knowing that going into that game, it made no sense to play zone, because of course Brady's going to pick you apart. He's done it to all the teams in the league. And it baffles me that D coordinators, when they go up against Tom Brady, whether you're in the division or outside or in a different conference, when they do get a chance to go up against him, they still, if their main defense is zone, they continue to play it. They play into his hands. And it's like,
even things that they did. I'm sorry to cut you off.
When are people going to wake up?
Right. But even, again, on that Manning cast, you can watch it too. When they got into the red zone, when Tampa got into the red zone, what are you thinking? Maybe Mike Evans, because he is the touchdown maniac there in the red zone.
He's one of the biggest targets.
We're going to double him maybe. Nope.
Nope.
I mean, him and Bradbury go back and forth a lot, but single coverage with Bradbury, and they double Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
When has Cameron Brate all of a sudden been this crazy, red zone scorer for you? Yes, he does. He gets in there. But your main threat, you didn't even decide to try and double it all. And then you just allow them to get in there. So a lot of mistakes happening. You're seeing how bad the offensive line is. Joe Judge, again, for a guy that's supposed to be all hard-nosed, tough on you,
disciplined,
he doesn't really show anything on the sidelines to me.
No,
like if you seem like disciplined and hard-nosed, like I want like fiery. Yeah, absolutely. Like Jim Harbaugh. Like he seemed like he was disciplined, but then also get fired up when you're making mistakes a little bit. He just kind of looks at you a little bit, will say something a little, but then kind of does that shoulder shrug and kind of like, okay.
Well, you got to.
Right, let's just go.
We got to remember too where he came from. Bill Belichick.
No, I hear you.
Bill Belichick very rarely shows emotion on the sidelines. He'll get pissed off about a penalty that shouldn't have been called or something like that. But for the most part, he's pretty reserved. He's pretty calm, and I see that a lot in Joe Judge too. Pretty reserved for the most part, but I have seen him. I have witnessed him on the sidelines, not necessarily in front of the camera, but behind the team on the bench, yelling at his defense, yelling at his offense, yelling at his quarterback. I've seen some emotion, some fire from him, but I think he tries to keep himself calm and focused during the whole entire game. To also, it'll reflect better on his players, saying, okay, well, we got to stay the same way. We got to stay focused. We got to keep doing what we got to do, and hopefully a better result will happen. So I do see that from him.
Right. But then again, it's a multitude of things. Because if you keep going back to the Jason Garrett thing, oh, by the way, Tom Leiter says, I think they could get free agents, when he's talking about the Manning brothers, get free agents to play for them, and nobody understands football better than the ultimate field general, Peyton Manning. Yeah, absolutely there. You know, who knows? But I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't really see that happening. I don't think they're
I
gonna
think that's
go
too much of like
that.
They're
comfortable on their couches right now where they are. And then it was funny because Kevin Hart, he's like, I know you guys. I'm calling you out. He's like, you guys don't like each other. It's a big thing that you guys like each other, but it's fake. You guys aren't even in the same living room. You guys don't even have Thanksgiving together. Like, it's calling out. He's like, you guys are even, if you have your show together, how come you're not in the same room? You're on opposite couches far away from each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right? You know, it makes sense. So, yeah, who'd see them on the same team
funny.
coaching? I don't know. Who knows? That brothers are going to start noogieing each other. Who knows? But Jason Garrett, like I said, right now he's the scapegoat. He's the first one to drop because there's a lot wrong. I said the offensive line, yes.
Yeah.
I said, Daniel Jones, a lot of mistakes.
Sure.
Again, when he came out on that bootleg, throwing it across the field to the defender, like, where's he going? The center or something like that? I know he had the tight end that was supposed to break on that route and come over, but Joe and I had talked about it before we started the show here. He also has his dump off right here where he's bootlegging out, and he could have got picked up a couple yards on that.
Yeah.
It would have been 2, 3, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not a turnover.
No.
In a bad position to give great field position for the Buccaneers who are already dominating you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I just don't get that. Why throw crossbody? It's because, you know what? It was near his first read. He's looking that way. Oh, I'm just going to throw it that way, even if there's a guy there or not. I'm going to do it. It makes no sense.
The funny thing about that play is the only player that was close to the D tackle was an
center,
offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Daniel, bro, even like that was the worst decision I've ever seen him make. Like, listen, I know he's made some pretty bad ones. I get it. But a lot of times it's in the moment. He's trying to force a ball or something, and the guy's just standing there, and he picks it up. But this one tops all of them. I just was completely baffled on his choice to go. Listen, I don't care. Even if you're trying to get rid of the ball just to get rid of the ball, that's fine. But throw it at someone's feet. Throw it at the lineman's feet or at the receiver. Even if he couldn't reach the receiver right, a couple yards up, 4 or 5 yards up from that play. Even if you couldn't reach him, at least you get it out of your hands. It's over and done with. Move on to the next play. Don't throw it to the opposite team.
Yeah, a lot wrong with that. And when you talk about the firing of Jason Garrett, a lot of things you're hearing is that the players really haven't, they really didn't like him. There's a real problem with him not getting along. Galladay yelling at him on the sidelines.
That's
blah.
That's uncalled for, though.
It is, because also the players aren't playing well.
No.
They're making mistakes. They're dropping. They're running the wrong routes. They're crossing into each other, looking at each other like, oh, you want me to line up over here? When they're doing the audibles, when they're trying to even set up the run.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Greasy is watching, and it's like, what the hell are these guys are doing? And it's Brian Greasy. It's like, you don't know what you're doing half the time. But he's like, look at, they're doing all this motion and moving over, and then they do a run up the middle. It's like poof, poof, and their stuff. They're like, all that for that?
And how about catching the ball? I mean, we've seen the Giants receivers struggle catching the ball, too. So when Daniel Jones does deliver the ball on time, accurately, right in the right spot, and they drop the ball, it's like, oh, my God, we can't get anything going.
And Galladay, you hired him to be that taller, bigger guy, and he can't get separation. Like, you should be able to muscle a guy, get around, and get the bigger throws. It seems like on some of these inside slants and things like that, he's letting the little corner just hang all over him and get him in, break up the pass, and then he acts frustrated that he can't catch the ball.
And that could go two different ways, right? Because if the corner's setting up inside his shoulder, they're not going to allow you to go inside. So even if the play is to that, somehow, some way, he's got to beat him. He's got to out-muscle him or something like that. Kenny Galladay's never been seen as a physical type of receiver. So a lot of times he won't win those battles. But what he is a playmaker down the field. Now, until they until this offense gets revamped, we might have not seen the best from Kenny Galladay because maybe the offense is limiting him, personally. So that's probably why they can't, hit on all cylinders and take over games that way. Is because they're just not there. The offense doesn't. What I'm saying, bottom line is the offense doesn't fit the personnel. You got all these receivers, and I get it. Injuries have come into play, and Sterling Shepard has missed some games. Kenny Galladay has missed some games. Darius Slayton has struggled big time this year in catching the football. So it's like, and Evan Ingram has been out for what seems like half the season. And now all of a sudden he comes back. He also has issues catching the ball. At one point in time, does everybody stay healthy and everybody can all just click on this offense? It's not going to be right now. That's all we know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one other thing I want to bring up here about the Giants, just to kind of wrap it up, which I think is a big part of it too, is Saquon Barkley. You want to talk about a guy that I've been on board too as well, because we've seen what he could do. His first couple of seasons here in the league, he's got the 900 and some odd yards, can get it done, running angry. But it does seem like that since these injuries compiling, like I know it's his first time coming back and stuff,
right.
But I just am watching him run, and he just looks like he is more concerned about just not hurting himself than actually making a play and getting up the field further, and it just doesn't look the same yet.
But but that happens with every player coming from a major injury. You're going to need a year to build up that confidence to return back to form like you once were.
Right. Well, that's why I think in that game plan, what they needed to do is run Devontae Booker more and then put Saquon in doses to help break it up. I think that would have been a better impact for the Giants running game than just he's the starter now, put him in, and then put him in, and then put him in. And it just seemed like he was trying to nurse himself. But then even after a couple of hits, it looked like he was even limping a little bit, because you see him on the sidelines talking to the trainer. And then the trainer, he almost looked like he was frustrated with Saquon. Like he's talking to him, blah, blah. And then Saquon starts to walk away, and the trainer's just kind of like, almost like, dude, really? Like, come on. But who knows? If Saquon can't be the guy either, then you got even more problems here with the New York Giants.
I don't think that's the issue. I think the thing is listen, we all know how good Saquon is. He still is a very good running back. The only problem is he just needs to further develop his confidence in that injury being fully healed. Once that happens, there's going to be no questions about it. I fully expect him to come back strong next year, to not have any limitations, to not have anything. And I know that's not what Giants fans want to hear. They want to see him now and making an impact. But this team is not going anywhere anyway. We've already witnessed it. We're already a little bit over halfway through the season, and we know the Giants are just not there. So let's get him on the football field. That's fine. Get him on the football field. Let him work through that confidence level with the injury. And then next year, when hopefully they revamp that offensive line, you got Saquon Barkley come back healthier and better and feeling great and full of confidence, and he's going to return back to the form that he once was. And then maybe get a different quarterback. I mean, because Daniel Jones is I'm done. I've had it. I just don't think he's the guy for the Giants. And listen, I know you brought it up many times. From the draft, the Giants trade up and they get Daniel Jones. They didn't really have to trade up to get that guy. And even if they missed out on Daniel Jones, even if they heard whispers of another team saying, we're going to take him before he gets to you, let it happen. Apparently you didn't do enough homework.
Just let it happen.
Because apparently you didn't do enough homework. Because, listen, in that same draft, Lamar Jackson went late. He went late. They could have had him. They could have had Lamar Jackson later, and
wasn't in that draft. Lamar Jackson wasn't in that draft.
But regardless,
like before, that was
you
the
could have
Saquon
had
Barkley
Lamar
draft,
Jackson.
Right?
You needed a quarterback then.
Yeah.
When Eli Manning moved on,
Doesn't
there's
it's like you said, that Saquon Barkley draft was a major one. You and I talked about it before. I said what the Giants do: try and trade back, get Lamar Jackson, swing around, hopefully with that next pick, and be able to pick up Nick Chubb.
That trade, they could have traded down. They didn't have to take Lamar with the first pick.
Even he didn't have to. Now
they could have
how
traded
far
down.
he fell down.
They would have got another pick later on or whatever. So they would have had 2 picks in the first round. They could have had Nick Chubb, and then later on take Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at a whole different forecast for the New York Giants. But listen, that's why we're not in the GM seat for the Giants.
Yep.
And, and you got Dave Gettleman there, and this is the direction that they're going.
Absolutely. But, talk about directions you're going. I'm talking about my buddies there at Mohawk Honda at Freeman's Bridge Road. They are going in the only direction but up. These guys are awesome. They're right there. They're your best Honda dealer here in upstate New York, Mohawk Honda, where they go out of their way to please you. Right now, they're giving you top dollar for your trades in right now. They got the KBB ICO. That's the Kelly Blue Book instant cash offer. They will give you top dollar for your trade in right now. So if you need some extra cash, especially Black Friday's coming this Friday, you need to spend some cash. Hey, who the hell needs a car right now? You can take the bus. You can do whatever. You don't need to do anything, especially if you're still working from home right now. You're not going out there. Just get rid of the car, take that cash, and go buy some great, lovely presents for all your loved ones out there. Get some jewelry for your wife. All right, absolutely. So go down there to Mohawk Honda, get the money that you deserve for your car. But also, hey, if you are in the market for a car right now, you want something different, something you don't get rid of the other ride that you have, they'll also do that, give you the best trade-in value for your car, and not only put you in whatever they think, because this is just affordable for you. Why don't you go with this or whatever? They're going to ask you what you want. What are you looking for? What do you want in this? And they're going to put you in the car that you want, the one that you desire, the one that you deserve, that you dream of driving off the lot. I talk about the lot. It's fully loaded, acres of pre-owns, new vehicles as well. Just go in, talk to my guy, Greg Johnson right there. He's the assistant general manager. You got Jake Hot Sauce Doyle. Louis the VIP man Morales too as well. And don't forget about service too. If you guys have to get oil change and stuff, I have to go there pretty soon get my oil changed because I don't like changing my oil in the wintertime, going outside and stuff. Forget that shit. I'm just going to call them up like, listen, you're right down the road from me. Hook me up with an oil change, and they take care of you. You know why? Because they go out of their way to please you. That's right, Mohawk Honda. All right, Joe. And so, there's the Giants.
Real quick, Tom Leiter says coaching is a 24-hour job. GM isn't. And you're right.
Yeah, and Gettleman's showing you that right now.
And GM is sleeping right now. I mean, he's always asleep, it seems like. You know what is funny? Because, like, when I watched the draft and they panned into
when
the
he's
war
at
room.
his house?
Yeah, well, he's at the office. Yeah. He's at the office, and it's like, before the camera was on, it seemed like he was like kind of relaxed in this chair and everything. Everything's all going good, and then all of a sudden, you're live on the camera. That you must have got alerted or something, because then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, face mask is on."
That's funny with everybody with the face mask.
He's just like, "Okay, bro, it's okay.
Yeah,
we understand. It's fine."
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so
just make better draft picks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been doing this segment there this year, though, for the first time. And so it's called my Milk Carton Missing Player of the Week. No surprise to me for who is my missing player here. It's Ryan Tannehill. All right, it could have been a few. It could have been Daniel Jones. I was going to go on that train here, but Ryan Tannehill.
I don't think you're right.
He has a lot more. Exactly, that's the thing. He has a lot more going for him. This team, the Titans, again, you seem like they were the cream of the crop right here, doing it without Derrick Henry, doing through the air game. Ryan Tannehill still, nice, efficient passer. Still, he threw over 67% and 300 yards this week, but he also had 4 interceptions on top of that. Sacked 2 times, just not getting it done. You know what I'm saying? And a team that seems like they're elite, need to move forward, and playing a team, the Houston Texans, who really have nothing to play for right now. They're trying to just go through the bumps and bruises and get to the draft to see if they can build something here. They go in and you let them go and just beat you at home, especially too. And you can't do that. You can't force the turnover, especially against this defense that really isn't that good either. I mean, they lost all their best defensive players, and you throw 4 picks against these guys. Give me a break. Get out of here, Ryan Tannehill. You're missing. You're MIA. You're on the back of the milk carton. Go find him. I don't see him. All right, so Joe. Joe, I'm amped up. I am amped up. You know why? It's because I've been drinking to raise energy too. Raise energy. That's right. You go to repsports.com too. Hit the promo code Raise 'em Up. That's right, and you can get
enter
50%
promo
off.
code Raise 'em Up.
That's right.
Enter it, not
enter
hit it.
Hit it. That's right. Don't hit it. Sorry.
You got to enter the promo code.
Enter the promo code right there, and you get 50% off your order. Takes care of your. Just pay for shipping. It's wonderful. Right now we're drinking. What is this? The berries and cream. Berries and cream. There you go. Brandon Matthews says that was mean. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've been known to be mean, so it's no surprise there as well. Oh, you want to talk about something else that's mean too? Here, I might as well bring up my fact of the day, Joe. Here, I haven't done this segment in a while either. It's my In the Know fact of the day. I found an interesting fact. It has nothing to do with football, but it has something to do with Thanksgiving. So here we go. Fact of the day. You want to know about Thanksgiving? Here you go. The first Thanksgiving took place in 1637 when Massachusetts colony governor John Winthrop celebrated the safe return of colonial hunters who had just massacred 700 Pequot Indians. He called it Thanksgiving. And that is your In the Know fact of the day. And that just sheds some light on this whole thing that maybe, everybody was sharing and drinking and eating Thanksgiving turkey with the Indians and the colonists together. Like, this is a great, happy, grand old time. But really, he was celebrating the fact that they had just massacred a bunch of them. So think of that when you guys are enjoying all that tomorrow and drinking and eating your pecan pie.
Wow, that took
How about
a
that?
dark
What,
turn.
right?
I don't even. That's not even football related.
Oh,
that just
I
went
can't.
right off the reservation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Joe. But, also, we got to pay the bills, too, as well. One thing I can't help is going to see my guys here at Colorize. Colorize. I saw them this week. You know what? I went to Colorize. See, there you go, Brandon Matthew. All right. I'll try not to make it dark anymore. I'm sorry, everybody. But
I thought this was a football
I went
show.
to Colorize, and I saw my man Brett. Shout out to Brett out there. We're talking some football out there, and I needed a color done. He goes and hooks me up, brings me out back. They got all the machine doing all the colors up. That's right. They do everything for you, whether it's the paint professional or the do-it-yourselfers out. You guys there, too, well, trying to get some stuff done at the house. Go check them out. They've got 3 stores, one in Niskayuna, one in Queensbury, and one in Clifton Park. That's right. Go to Niskayuna, talk to my buddy Brett, say hi, say you heard it from us, Joe and Jim from Football on the Know, and they'll hook you up down there. They know what they're doing. They are the paint professionals. And check them out on mycolorize.com. Well, Mike Tackett. Tackett is in
Mike
the house
Tackett.
tonight. And he's saying right here, he's like, Jimmy, it's is that pecan pie? Not pecan pie. Well, I don't know. I say it's pecan. I hate the pecan. You want to argue words. I'm ready to argue words all the time because I think things are pronounced wrong all the time too as well. So I'm ready to go.
Even when he pronounces them wrong, he thinks it's wrong.
Yeah.
So
I'll go back
fine.
and say it about myself.
Yeah,
and it could be pecan. It's pecan and pecan, right? It's got to be either or. It can't be both. I get what I did. I mixed them together. It's okay though. It is what it is. All right. So anyways.
Real quick. So Mike Tackett did chime in. He says,
did he?
Happy Thanksgiving Eve, guys. I've added a plethora of football games throughout Europe and Japan to my YouTube channel. If anybody is interested in tomorrow's mostly toilet bowl games, he's got his YouTube address linked up there in the chat. So if you guys want to go ahead and follow our boy Mike Tackett, he does a great job of kind of staying in the loop with everybody from around the world in terms of football. But go ahead and make sure you check out his channel, Mike Tackett Official, on YouTube.
All right, Paul Maddie's in the house. He says, where are you guys broadcasting from? We are broadcasting from Albany, New York. Technically, Castleton on the Hudson, New York, but Albany, New York up here in the frigid cold. It is getting cold.
A little bit, but
by the day.
Yeah. Also, Mike Tackett said, last week I went 9-6, making me 101, 63-1 on the year. Below are my picks for this week.
Oh, he's got them there. I went 10-5. And we got to talk about firsts, right? They brought up the firsts this year. I think last week, especially in that game, was the first time a 300-pound lineman caught a touchdown and also a 300-pound defensive lineman caught an interception. But there was also a first this season. It was the first time I ever beat you in picks this season.
That's all right.
So that was the first time. It's sad. That's what kind of weird year it's been for me. Well, I actually only gained one game on you. I'm doing little baby steps at a time.
There you go.
But Mike Tackett, check him out. That's like all the Euro games. He's on top of it. He was a former player too as well, so he's on top of it. He knows his stuff. So if you guys aren't part of our group either, join our group, Football on the No Show on Facebook. Become a member, become a know-it-all, and you'll see our buddy Mike Tackett. He's on top of all the top news.
What else we got? Oh, Michael Guerrero.
Oh, Michael Guerrero's in the house.
Guerrero! Let's go, Mike. He said, great show, guys. Raiders 36, Cowboys 17. Mike, I don't know where you're getting that number. I'm a Raiders fan, and I'm sorry. I do not see I don't see.
That's fandom right there.
Here's my thing. All right, about the Raiders right now, real quick. Defensively, they are made to maintain a lead. And what I mean by that is they have constructed that defense to be a pass rush style type of defense that limits the big plays, right? But if you're able to run the ball on them and you start to get a lead, the defense isn't constructed to stop your run. They're made to go after your quarterback and disrupt your passing game. So unless the Raiders get a lead against the Cowboys and maintain it, I don't see that going that way. So I listen. Cowboys got a lot of listen. They are missing some weapons. That's one thing that the Raiders got going from. No Amari Cooper, it looks like. No CeeDee Lamb, it sounds like. So they'll be down to Cedric Wilson and Michael Gallup, who just returned recently as their go-to guys. But listen, what are the Cowboys going to do? The smart thing to do is just run Zeke, and Tony Pollard, make the Raiders stop the run. I just don't know if they can do that.
All right, Joe. You know what? I'm going to call an audible. Why don't we get into let's take a look and preview the Thanksgiving games, and then we'll get into my top 5 worst things to watch on Thanksgiving, and then we'll get into our Week 12, the rest of the picks. You want to do that?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's hit it up. All right, here we go. I'm going to cue the music. All right, let's get it done. Here now, let's bring up the Dallas Cowboys and the Vegas Raiders. Seeing you just brought them up here along with Michael Guerrero. Yeah, I'm not on the same wagon, too, as well, because when are the Raiders really shown right now that they can put up 38 points? They really haven't been able to. They've been not very good, but then also some of the injuries that they've been facing.
Talk about the loss.
Derek Carr has been making, just getting pressured and not making very good mistakes, too. Hasn't been the better off in the first half, not as good this beginning of the second half.
I don't blame Carr at all for this at all. This is poorly offensive game plan. This is, no head coach. They got the guy right now that they have as their interim head coach is a special teams guy his whole career and doesn't say anything. He reminds me of just like a mute head coach on the sideline. He doesn't even argue calls, which is baffling to me. And on top of that, you got Greg Olson calling the plays. So vanilla, so predictable. Whatever happened to opening up the playbook? Letting Derek Carr be Derek Carr. Letting him attack down the field like it was early in the season. Letting them mix up these plays and distributing the ball to everybody. That's gone away. Don't get me wrong. They're going through a rough time right now this season. Their head coach gets kicked out of, basically kicked out of the NFL. Now they have, all these backup coaches coming in and not really directing this team the right way. They're all kind of playing conservative football and being too careful. You can't be careful if you want to win games. They have the weapons. Listen, they're missing Ruggs big time. And that's really what it comes down to. Is Ruggs, it was a huge part of this offense to keep it going. And now that they don't have him, Deshaun Jackson, they signed him. Could he be the next guy to fill those shoes? Sure, absolutely. But you got to remember, he's coming in, after the halfway point of the season. He's got to learn this offense. The more offense he's able to learn, I would hope that they open up this playbook again. But until that happens, they're going to continue to struggle on offense. And honestly, they need to become more aggressive like they once were. Otherwise, it's not going to – the rest of the season, they might be going for that high first-round draft pick at this point.
Right. And if you take a look at this game, too, I think it's going to be a bit closer than maybe what people would have imagined going into it ahead of time with the Dallas Cowboys, too. But, again, they've been suffering with enough of their injuries, too. The Amari Cooper thing. Now you've got CeeDee Lamb. He got banged up and then, came back a little bit. So it doesn't look like you're going to get him, though. So, what are you going to get out of these weapons? Luckily they do have a decent amount of weapons in Zeke Elliott, but then also Tony Pollard. But Zeke Elliott's even a bit banged up, too, as well.
Right.
And you notice the difference when they don't have Tyron Smith in there. One of the key factors we used to bring up about the Cowboys is between the factors of wins and losses was whenever Sean Lee seemed like he was injured and out, they would always lose. They just couldn't get it done. They just missed that guy. Same is to be said with Tyron Smith. Whenever he's banged up and he's not in this lineup, it just seems like that whole offensive line crumbles. That left side, they really rely on him being there. And you see when Dak gets pressured trying to get it out to everybody, he's doing all he can to try and make it work, but the team wasn't helping him out. And that defense, no matter what you want to say about them, they're playing better, this and this, they're just not, one of the better teams in the league. They're not getting it done. Diggs, yes, he's opportunistic, able to get some of those picks, but he gets caught looking a hell of a lot and can get beat on man coverage as well. And we got to see that in the past couple games too as well. So, I mean, they get exposed, and that's the problem here. But unfortunately for the Raiders, I don't think they really kind of have that type of element that's going to really stop the Dallas Cowboys here. So I like the Dallas Cowboys in this one at home on Turkey Day.
The one thing that I'll say is that whether Tyron Smith is playing or not, I don't think he's that big of a difference for that whole offensive line. The offensive line really isn't playing that well. Smith, don't get me wrong, is a slight upgrade at this point in his stage of his career, but he's not as good as he used to be either. I mean, to me, it's going to be an uphill battle for both teams. I think the Raiders can get after Dak Prescott. Pass rush-wise, they'll be able to do that. The big question is can the Raiders try to attempt to stop this run game for the Cowboys? That's going to be the critical part for this game. If the Raiders are able to slow down to stop this run, I feel like they'll have a really good chance of winning. But other than that, their offense, it's disappeared a little bit. And until they get Deshaun Jackson rolling and they get him more involved in this offense, I feel like they're going to continue to struggle. So I got the Cowboys in this one. They are home. They usually play really well at home. Got a lot of support there. And the Cowboys defense, what I'll say about them is, they're not elite, but they definitely make plays from time to time. As long as they keep Micah Parsons at that DN spot, he's going to wreak havoc, especially on the Raiders. Listen, you put him on the right tackle, it's over. I mean, Brandon Parker is not the answer for the Raiders, and they are still hoping that they can eventually find a right tackle to take on that role. But, Cowboys all day in this one. I do give the Raiders some. I think this is going to be closer than people think, but in the end, Dallas is going to get it.
All right, there you go. We got Dallas Cowboys there as well. Now the Chicago Bears playing against the Detroit Lions at home. Lions still cannot come up with that victory here. And you would have thought that maybe they had an opportunity last week, but again, Jared Goff that suffers that injury too on that oblique. I mean, but they're saying he might be able to.
He's starting.
He said it's a daytime or a game time decision. They said it looks like he's going.
They came out officially today. He's starting.
Okay, I mean, I didn't see that. I saw that earlier that he was game time still, but if they they get an opportunity, that would be better because before that we were looking at Boyle versus Dalton. So that looked like a good game altogether. Not that this is much better, but the Detroit Lions, again, struggling, trying to find that win. They end up with the week that they looked like they're going to get it. They're playing the Steelers without Big Ben. Still couldn't get it done. They end up tying. And the Chicago Bears, again, like we said it earlier on, struggling. Justin Fields, who's going to be their future, trying to get him more acclimated with things and getting a season under his belt. He's going to be injured, so now you've got Andy Dalton back in there, which, again, he's a veteran. He's been able to put up points here for this team as well. But I think Chicago, what they really need to do, again, is get the running game going to alleviate some of that pressure on Dalton, because if he gets pressured, that's when he makes the bonehead mistakes and he becomes a turnover machine. So even though Detroit's at home here, I'm still going to lean, I think, towards the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, this game can go either way, but I will say this, that the being at home for Detroit, this is a blessing. And playing Chicago is a blessing because, listen, they're an injury-riddled team on defense. They're injury-riddled on the offense. And Andy Dalton, I'm just not buying him. I don't think he's going to be answered. Detroit's defense has played teams tough throughout the season. And with Jared Goff now starting, I think that it gives them a great shot of winning this game. I'm going Detroit in this one.
All right, here we go. Now, finally, for Sunday nights or their Thursday night's game, we've got the Buffalo Bills and the New Orleans Saints. Bills, you need to get your head out of your ass here. You need to get it going here. We've heard about the, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs tandem. They're, really right on the same page with one another. They need to get more running effect out of the other running backs, not just Josh Allen trying to get it done. It seems like he's trying to put the team on his shoulders, and when things aren't there, trying to make things happen, and that's when you force turnovers and make mistakes here. That defense, again, should have been able to stifle. You're not going to fully stop Jonathan Taylor, but they should have been able to limit some of that. That had to be the game plan going forward. So then all you had to do is stop Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? Get him a little rattled to make mistakes, and they weren't able to get it done. But now they're facing a New Orleans Saints team, which they're struggling at the quarterback position. And just week by week, they just look worse and worse. And now it seems like so their bright idea is let's restructure Taysom Hill's contract and laden that with a bunch of incentives to hope that maybe he might be able to be that franchise quarterback and throw a ton of money at him.
Here's the thing: is the Saints are kind of, I don't know. I just feel like the Saints are a little, interrupted this season. They're not what Sean Payton wanted them to be. Obviously,
well, I know that you see what they're dealing with. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
He's kind of playing with Jameis Winston, trying to make him fit in this offense, trying to help him further develop as a quarterback. But with Taysom Hill, it's almost like and that contract can be anywhere where it's $45 million to $95 million. Mm-hmm. It's all incentive laden. Mm-hmm. It depends on how often he plays and all that whole deal. Okay, great. So he's more of an X factor on the team. Will he eventually start for them? It's possible, and that's why the contract is set up the way it is. But I don't feel like the Saints offense has a true identity. And until they do, we all know that Alvin Kamara's the number one star there right now on offense. And until Michael Thomas returns, which will be next season, who knows where this is going to end up. Because since Drew Brees has definitely officially retired, this Saints offense is struggling. Mm-hmm. They can't seem to find what ticks for them. Mm-hmm. They can't find a rhythm. They can't find anything working for them. And by all means, they've also been another team that's been injured a ton on offense. Mm-hmm. So defensively, they kind of stay in some games, but I feel like with that continuing struggle on the offensive side of the ball, that it looks like, you got Buffalo coming to town right now, a team that is in great, they need a win. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, they need a win, and they need an exclamation point win type of situation here for them to get them back on track, to get them more confidence, get them right back in line with this division race, to stay right there with the Patriots. Buffalo Bills defense, and you were right about last week about how they should have made an adjustment, and they should have went all out into stopping the run first, and then work on attacking Carson Wentz, which wouldn't have been hard because they do have a great pass rush. They have a really good team. They could play man-to-man or zone. They can do a lot of things well, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do those things. But Buffalo's offense is prolific at times. They are hard to deal with. So I think Buffalo coming into New Orleans has a shot to get back on track this week. I know I said that last week with Buffalo, but I really think that the Bills are going to end up getting the W here going into New Orleans.
All right, Greg Schreiner's in the house with us tonight, Joe. He says the run defense is a great concern, kind of soft. And that showed a little bit last week and what they're,
you won't have to worry about it this week.
Yeah, that's the one thing you won't really. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that you've got the New Orleans Saints right where you want them to as well. Normally, if you looked at this, I'm sure that's what they were thinking ahead of time when they saw this and made this matchup. New Orleans Saints at home, Buffalo. Buffalo was going to be a contender here. Saints possibly, if Jameis Winston stayed healthy or what they're going to do with it. Because, again, a lot of that was going through it. The Sean Payton, this offense isn't going to change so much with Drew Brees gone, but you see the difference with him not being able to be there and what injuries has been able to do to a team like this. You're just not being able to get it done.
I mean, yeah, and you look at their receiving core.
Like you said, you can't even find a guy that's consistent. Like the quarterbacks can't get consistent with any of these wide receivers.
Yeah, there's no rhythm, and there's not anybody that is stepping up to the plate and taking over this offense and being the go-to guy or being the playmaker. We're just not seeing anybody step up. Listen, we've seen, spurts of Callaway, a rookie wide receiver, showing some highlights here and there, but overall this season, the whole receiving corps has been banged up on top of that. So this offense just isn't ready yet. They're just not in tune. And and I don't see it happening until next season. Like maybe when they're to make some more additions to this offense in the draft or free agency. But until that happens, I kind of worry about the Saints. Listen, I like their defense, but their offense, to me, early on in the season, they were like, oh, wow, they're making it work. And then as teams started to, gradually get better, you know what I mean, and better chemistry for everybody, and the defense started to come together. Now you're seeing the Saints offense struggle, and don't know when that's going to end.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I think, Joe, you said you were going to go with the Bills as well in this
Bills,
one.
and Mike Tackett went Bears, Cowboys, Bills.
Bears, Cowboys, Bills. So he's on board with me. He's just different on Detroit. And who knows, that first game could go any way on that one. So, Joe, like I said earlier, it's been getting cold here. This past week especially, it's freezing out. There's frost and ice out there in the morning here in New York, by the way. Why don't you tell everybody here who is out here where it is cold even about our friends here at Johnstone Supply?
Yeah, Johnstone Supply. Hey, listen, the final few months of 2021 are here, and that means the holidays are approaching, as I'm sure everyone knows. Make sure your home is safe and warm this season, thanks to Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York. The Goodman furnaces are now in stock, everybody. That's right. I know you guys were waiting on this. I know you're waiting for the release date. It's here. Goodman furnaces are now in stock. They're not only made in America, but they're also the perfect blend of efficiency and dependability for wherever you may live. Don't forget to clean out your air filters before your friends and family visit this season. Find out about ways to purify the air in your home and to adjust your air filters before the big holiday events by connecting with Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York. Visit them on 6th Avenue in Troy, New York from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call them at 518-272-5922. Whether it's George, Tom, Kev, or James or the rest of the crew there, they'll offer you the best recommendations for this season. Call them today to get the best advice on how to prepare your home for the snow and to change your boilers or furnace. Call Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York, 518-272-5922, or leave them a comment on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Johnstone Supply, like I said. And checking the filters and everything is important, too. I mean, we've seen a lot of sirens tonight, especially. There's some stuff going down. There's fires or something or ambulance. It's nuts. I don't know. I don't know if people were deep frying their turkeys earlier or what the hell's going on.
I mean, last night I was driving home and I must have seen 5-6 fire trucks drive by me.
Yeah.
All in these screen bush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's nutty.
It was insane. I'm like, what's happening
people
right
maybe
now?
aren't sweeping out their chimneys. I'm not sure. Checking their stuff, but it's very important. And our guys at Johnstone Supply will take care of you for all of your needs like that. All right, Joe. So it is our fourth annual Thanksgiving show, Joe. Four years. Our fourth time doing it here.
That's as far up as I can count.
Oh, yeah, right? Absolutely. Here we go. Tom Goss in the house with us tonight.
There he is.
Oh, here goes. Is mac and cheese an elite meal on Thanksgiving? Here we go with the Thanksgiving talk.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this was part of my top 5 I did last year. Last year I did my top 5, and it was top 5 sides. Right. I think I failed miserably because I felt the pressure to try and be a little different on some of the things.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been
and
different.
I left out some of the more important ones.
Yeah.
So I screwed up. I think I had mac and cheese on there, though.
I know. You had mac and cheese, so that kind of redeemed the list a little bit. But I feel like a lot of the know-it-alls out there, they were really kind of coming down hard on you for hey, why isn't this in there?
Dude,
why isn't sweet potato pie in there? Why isn't this?
I forgot the damn stuffing. How the hell did I forget stuffing?
I don't know how you forgot stuffing, bro.
Dude, I screwed it up hard. Was
cranberry sauce on there?
Cranberry sauce.
I don't remember.
I don't even think I put it on there either. I think I gotta have a top 10. I know it was there.
That's all right.
But anyways, mac and cheese, it's got to be baked. Mac and cheese, I think it is good.
So good.
I don't think it's an elite meal on Thanksgiving, though. If you look at mac and cheese, that's a great hearty, full, you can make some gourmet mac and cheese. So you can have it anytime. I don't think it's like specific to Thanksgiving though, and that's where I think it falls out of the elite status. And if you look at mac and cheese altogether as a whole, I think there's way too much mac and cheese going on at some of these franchise restaurants too. I keep going to a restaurant, but it's like, oh, you got to try their mac and cheese. So you go to another one. Here's this is mac and cheese. Yeah, if mac and cheese is your big deal there, and I need to go there for your mac and cheese.
There you go, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm not that impressed. Okay. Unless it's some kind of crazy crab mac and cheese.
Cranberry sauce #1.
Brandon Matthew in the house. Cranberry sauce #1. Now, here you go. I heard this today on one of the shows in ESPN radio. I'm not going to promote it, and I don't even remember the name even.
Because they don't matter.
It's not that very good. But they had a debate on the canned cranberry sauce opposed to the homemade.
Okay.
And so, Joe, I'm going to ask you, where do you sit on this one? Is it cranberry, the homemade better than the can? Or it's like you must have it, or you could go either way, but you would prefer one over the other.
I like both. I don't care.
Do you prefer one over the other?
No, I like both.
You just like both. All right, excellent.
I don't care.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I'll eat any of them. Homemade, canned.
Yeah.
I'm good, baby. Let's go.
And I think you got to even serve both.
You're getting me all jacked up for tomorrow.
I know.
I can't
wait,
wait,
got it,
baby.
dude. I mean, because I was kind of raised on the can. You raised on the can, but then once you have the homemade, it's just a whole nother playing field. You know what I mean? But it's got to be done right. You know what I'm saying?
You never had homemade.
You never had homemade.
But canned.
Brother, you got to find somebody to do this for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to love one over there. Say, honey, you know what I really want for Thanksgiving? You got to go out and make me some cranberry sauce, the homemade stuff. The can's good. Can's good. It's like a jelly type of thing. You could slice it and dice it, whatever, and it's good. But like you get somebody to make that homemade, especially if you got to like cranberries too, like the real cranberries. You know what I mean?
It's hard.
It's delicious.
Listen, if the go-to thing is canned, you can't go wrong there either. Listen, that Ocean Spray cranberry sauce
that's
is
the
pretty
go-to.
damn good.
It is.
But here's the thing.
For me, it's like a kid thing though.
And there are people too that don't like they don't like the homemade and they prefer the can.
Yeah.
So it goes either way. I think it's just preference.
Yeah.
Either way you have it, it's got to be part of Thanksgiving.
It's like the mac and cheese. Like I like the Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's good.
I like homemade.
But homemade, I think, is better.
I'm gonna make you mac and chease, bro.
We'll see. Let's see if you can blow me away.
I'm gonna
it's
blow
good
you
because
away.
you know what? I like macaroni and cheese. I like the baked macaroni and cheese.
What kind of pasta you want?
What do you got? What is the spiral ones that aren't spiral noodles, but they're the twisty ones?
Canapes?
Yeah. How is it pronounced? I don't want to get called out by Mike Tackett, the word police.
Don't worry about Mike.
Is Cavatappi? Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that.
What it is when you say Italian words, you got to do the accent to it, like Cavatappi, like that, spaghetti, things like that. It just makes it sound so much better.
Trying too hard though. You're trying to.
All right. Anyways, so the mac and cheese, we're all about it, guys. Absolutely. So let's get to my list this week. I stayed away from the sides. I made this one a bit easier here. It's top 5 worst things
to watch
on Thanksgiving because we know we're gonna watch football here. That's pretty much the bottom line here.
Watch.
But I know, I know. But here we go. All right. Unfortunately, for number 5, I am gonna put a game, and it's gonna be the Bears and the Lions. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm kind of done with the Lions playing on Thanksgiving Day. Why can't they change it up? They're trying to change it up over in London with not just the Jaguars playing and this and that.
So,
why do the Cowboys always have to play on Thanksgiving?
Because that's tradition for the
NFL. Everybody's changing tradition now.
But
they traditionally suck.
But
why can't we change it and put like a better game there?
They're not going to change Detroit and Dallas from the Thanksgiving games because that is tradition for the NFL. The only thing that they've done is they've added another game where a couple other teams get to be on the Thanksgiving ballot.
All right,
That's
Mike.
about it.
Yeah, and Brandon Matthews says they have a contract with the NFL. Yeah, I know, and it's been a thing that the Cowboys have been on board. I mean, I did a fact of the day about it before when they started doing this tradition and blah blah. But they flex out games all the times on Sunday nights and things. When are we going to change some of this though? I mean, there's got to be a new thing. Why can't another team make another contract with this? I mean, why does it have to be the Detroit Lions,
bro? What more could you want?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's tough. Well, and Mike Tackett here, he goes, best way to enjoy stuffing, cranberry sauce, and sweet potatoes. Step 1, put them all in the garbage. Step 2, go eat turkey, ham, and mac and cheese like a real man.
I disagree with that, bro.
Jeez.
Yeah,
He's trying to put me out on that one, dude.
Totally disagree.
You're alone on that one, Mike. I mean, I don't know. Mike, though, is like, one of those big, hardy, like built dudes though. So he's all about eating the turkey. He's probably going to eat the ham too, and then he's going to throw in a roast beef on top of it,
Mike,
and
you
then
got
finish it
ham
off
on
with
Thanksgiving?
with some people do. Some people
Crazy.
like to change it up though too. They don't like to go to traditional
That's crazy,
turkey,
bro.
and they do the ham.
Crazy. You gotta
and
have that
sometimes
turkey.
like you want to do like what my family does. We do the turkey because it's a Thanksgiving turkey, and then you do the ham for Christmas, right? Some people do both, but I think you do the ham for Christmas, and that's better.
Brandon says
sweet potatoes. I'm on board with the sweet potatoes. I can't stand sweet potatoes.
Brandon says it's the only time they can get people to watch a
Lions
game.
game. Yeah, right. It could be. Yeah, they're like you're forcing you, right? This is the time you have to give these guys something here.
I
yeah,
love
it
me
could
some
be.
sweet potatoes.
It could be. But you know what? One game they did make it interesting. If you look back a few years ago, remember they had Blau as the quarterback. David Blau
Yeah.
made that a game and almost pulled out that victory. That was an exciting game.
That
for
was
them.
awesome.
That's why I was kind of looking at this
honestly,
Boyle game. I'm like, can
I'm
this
telling
guy
you
get
right
this
now,
done?
as much as we pick on the Lions or whatever in Dallas is always on the Thanksgiving Day games, I think these games are going to turn out to be okay. I don't think they're going to be like a blowout either way. I think they're going to be good games.
As far as the sides and everything and all that stuff too, I'm limited this year on my stuff because I'm trying to limit my sugar intake. So I'm gonna do a lot of turkey. I'm probably gonna pass
Get
out
that
on the
protein
chair.
in, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then pass out
very low
afterwards.
carb. I'm gonna do a lot of turkey and hit it up hard. And maybe find some sugar-free options. All right, here we go. Full disclosure here. We celebrated Christmas and Thanksgiving at the same time because family was coming from all over the country. That's what Mike Tackett says. Brandon agrees with Joe. And deviled eggs, F those.
Whoa!
That's what Mike Tackett
Whoa!
says. Whoa, wait,
Whoa!
I'm liking that one too. There we
Get
go.
out of here, bro.
Yes.
Get out of here. Deviled eggs are
I'm giving you
amazing.
on that one. I don't know.
Amazing, bro.
I don't know if I'm like this with Mike Tackett here. Maybe we can find common ground.
No way, bro.
I can't
outta
eat
here,
egg
bro.
salad either. I just don't. I think it tastes like a fart sandwich, and I can't
What the
eat
hell's
that.
the matter with you?
It's like weird.
Do you
Eggs
like
should
eggs?
be cooked and fried. Yeah, because they taste
Doesn't
good.
sound like
but
it.
they got to be cage free too, because then they taste sweeter. They don't taste like
Reported that
terrible.
comment.
And so, nice. Oh man, that's
Yes.
messed up. Yeah.
Reported that comment. You have to.
Oh
That's
man.
That's terrible.
Oh. Oh man,
You're
got
not
him on
having
that one.
Thanksgiving then if you're saying heck with all these.
Oh, jeez. All right. So, anyways,
Craziness.
yeah, don't get me to gripe on all that stuff. I'm griping about enough here. So here we go.
Crazy.
Top 5. I said that game again. I'm not looking forward to that one, but whatever it is, it's the early game. And so now moving on to my next one. Top 5 worst things to watch.
What do you got?
And I got this Christmas specials. All the damn Christmas specials.
What is with that?
Like yeah. Here.
We're not
Mike
even in the
Tackett.
month of December.
We're not even. They're doing it actually this week before even Thanksgiving starts. I don't mind you putting your lights out on the freaking yard and ever and stuff like that.
I do.
Almost did this
can't
weekend
do it.
because it was actually like 50-something degrees. I was going to put them out there but not turn them on and not leave the blow-ups all deflated. So then when it is Christmas time, you blow it up and you do it up. But the specials this week before –
All right, let me
they're
ask you
doing
this.
all the Christmas shows, and then even right after, in disrespect to the Thanksgiving, like let the holiday go through, they're just doing Christmas all over again. I don't
What?
want to see Rudolph right after I just had my Thanksgiving turkey.
No, what they should be doing is Thanksgiving movies. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
there's
but
plenty
that's
of them
what I
out
mean.
there.
Yeah, there's some Thanksgiving movies out there, and even Thanksgiving episodes. There's one from Friends, I think, where Courtney Cox puts the turkey on her head. It's hilarious. You got Happy Days when they're talking about Thanksgiving. Some of the classics. By the way, when the hell did The Wizard of Oz become a Thanksgiving movie?
I don't know.
When did that happen, too? What the hell in the Wizard of Oz says Thanksgiving?
They just threw it in there.
She click her heels, and all of a sudden, oh, shit, we're back in color, and it's freaking Thanksgiving?
just throw it
like,
in
what
there.
the hell? I don't get that. Why is that a Thanksgiving movie? I don't get it. Because there's a scarecrow in it?
I gotta go back to the decorating of the lights and everything.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So let me ask you this. So say you do that. You set up your Christmas, scenery, whatever, the
Yeah,
lights
yeah.
and all that.
Right.
Do you turn them on at night?
I have a timer where it does. I don't have to physically
No, like
turn them
I'm
on.
saying before December, do you have them turn on?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a late bloomer. I do
okay
it
with
later
that.
on.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't. I'm a little bothered by people that dress up their whole entire house and they got Christmas, everything, and it's on every night in the month of December all the way. I don't care if it's December you turn the lights on, but we're not even in the month of December yet. It's not even
Holy
like towards
Santa Claus shit.
exactly. It's not even Christmas time yet. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like it's got to be, if it's November, no Christmas. Don't turn them on. You can decorate them. You can put whatever you want out there, but just don't turn them on at night. December. That's the time you turn everything on and you start celebrating the holidays.
All right.
Christmas.
And
Jesus.
Brandon says Home Alone is a year-round movie. It's goated.
He's not wrong.
I think that was a sheep, but anyways, close enough to a goat. But
Is that Tom?
yeah. But
It
Home
sounds like
Alone,
Tom.
yes, it's good. But that's the thing though. But leave it for when even it's after it's nice. But some of these other ones, like I said, Frosty, or if you start playing Rudolph already, it's like, come on, dude. It's not. I can't even get into the Christmas spirit yet. What the hell are you doing?
No. Yeah,
and
you
Brandon
gotta
says
wait.
we've seen so many people with Christmas lights already today. Yeah, absolutely. And not even the lights. Lights again outside. You could try and catch a nice day to do it. I know somebody that already cut down a tree and put it in their house already.
And decorated
that
it?
shit's gonna die before
Oh.
even before Christmas comes.
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna get
too
so
early.
dried out and everything.
It's too
It's
early.
just dumb, straight up dumb. Like,
Better
what
get
are
some
you
aspirin
doing?
in that tree already.
Yeah, stupid, absolutely stupid. Anyways, there you go. There's my number 4. Number 3. Again, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. They have Charlie Brown freaking Christmas right after. See, that's what I mean. You do the Thanksgiving one, then the Christmas one right after. And you know what? When I was a kid, we used to watch this. It's a tradition.
Right.
The
Yeah.
Peanuts gang, Charles Schultz. You know what? Right now, though, nobody gives a shit about Charles Schultz. These younger guys, they don't know. The kids, they don't know. And I'm
don't even know
watching
who
it
Charlie
as an
Brown
adult,
is.
too. It's one of those things. You liked it as a kid, kind of. You're like, yeah, this is okay. But then you watch it as an adult, you're like, this sucks. Like,
It's boring.
The Peanuts gang specials are the worst out of them all. They all suck. They're boring. They just drag on and on, even though they're only like 45 minutes long. It seems like you're there for hours. Like you want that time back from your life. And Charlie Brown, how is he the star of the show when everybody picks on this kid? And he's always happy. How the frig is this kid always happy when he gets picked on constantly and constantly and constantly? When he's got a dog that's a lot freaking cooler than what he is, that everybody loves. Everybody loves freaking Snoopy.
Love Snoopy.
Hates Charlie Brown. You know what I mean?
Charlie.
This other girl, it has got football on it, steals the football from him every time he tries to kick it.
That's
and he
fucked
falls for it every time, and he's still just walking around smiling. Hey, this is all cool. Yeah, this is great. You know what's dumb? Do stupid fucking dance, to this dumbass music all the time, and we're all happy. It sucks. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, it's terrible. It's boring. That's my number 3. All right, here we go, Joe. Let's go get into number 2. Number 2. The parade.
Absolutely.
All right? Again,
I completely
parade. You got it. Like, I'm a traditionalist altogether, too. I like to say
a
I kind of
point.
am to a point. But you know what? Parades, they've had their time. There's more things to do right now than watch a freaking parade, okay? Nobody wants to go to these things. They barely do, okay? It's for the olden times. We're like, oh, there's nothing to do. Let's go outside. Oh, look, there's some floats going around. Those are impressive. Look at the technology.
There's Barney.
Oh, wow, yeah, and look at this crazy things. You know what? The parades have turned into the NASCAR of holidays. They watch them to see what disasters can possibly happen. What balloon or float is going to
Deflates and
deflate
falls
next
down.
and cause an accident. That's what they're looking for. So they have it on in the background, blah, 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 blah. Check it every once in a while. Hey, everybody's still okay? No wires caught, nothing? Okay, or whatever, nothing. No Snoopy, no SpongeBob going down. And then the B-rate freaking singers and people they have on there.
God.
Nobody gives a shit about them. Nobody cares. And they don't even know who they are. And when they're there, they stop in front of Macy's and do their lip sync songs and stuff like that. Like everybody thinks you're freaking singing. Like, dude, it sucks. Nobody cares. Nobody watches it anymore. Macy's tries to do this whole thing. Look what we're doing and everything. Save your freaking money, okay? One thing
definitely.
I got to say about this, though, one thing I'll gripe. Thank you, everybody out there who said so many times said here. All right, let's go to the comments here quick so I don't forget you guys. Brandon definitely agrees. Mike Tackett says Macy's Day Parade, too, as well. Thanksgiving over Thanksgiving movies. Wow. Man, dude, Mike Tackett, we're going to have issues.
Mike,
Also, he says, poor Lucy
You're
is
the-
lucky Charlie didn't get CTE after falling on his head so many times. Shout out for a cause. Absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, Tom
For
Leiter
Tom
in the
Leiter,
house.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's going to be the drawing for that's going to be coming out, too, as well. And wait 7 hours for Santa. That says Brandon Matthews. But a lot of good comments.
Mike, I think you've been in the sun too long, bro. Because
CTE.
you've been saying a lot of crazy stuff
He
in the
is.
comment section.
Yeah, and
But I want to say,
but then he's still friends with her still, too. You know what I mean? After how are you friends with somebody that keeps doing that to you and picking on you all the time?
I don't know.
He might not have had CTE, but he definitely has low self-esteem, and he's on
over
medication.
the Charlie Brown thing. I don't even like talking about it because it's annoying. But I gotta say, the parade though.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk about is the parade. Listen, when I was young, I used to be made to watch it. Like, oh, it's tradition.
Jesus,
oh,
that's torture.
Oh, we should watch it, right?
I'm going to report your parents now.
We should watch it as a family. And then as I got older, I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, I don't even want to watch it. Hey, you want to watch the parade? No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go play video games right now because this is boring to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I would fall asleep because of how boring it was. There's nothing going on. It's not exciting. And then just like you're saying, like they stop the floats in front of Macy's. They got people singing like you don't care about. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. Parents, don't force your kids to watch things, the freaking parade.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. And really, what's the point? You're watching a parade that you're not even a part of. It's on television. Are you kidding me? I don't want to watch the
It's one thing because I've gone there in person too, but even that it's not that special.
It's just boring.
I'm just down in Times Square. This is fun.
It's not like I want to watch it. I don't want to watch St. Patty's Day parade on TV either. It's just boring. It's like watching golf. Terrible.
Yeah, it is. And Brandon agrees too. He was made to watch it, family time. But I was going to say here real quick, this year they're doing these things called NFTs. So let me tell you what NFTs are. I don't know exactly what it means. I forget. But I'll tell you exactly kind of in a breakdown. They're doing digital graphics that are of former floats up to present time that they're going to be putting across like as if they're there. So they're going to have these make-believe digital
CGI
type of things here. They're called NFTs, but you could also bid on them to purchase them, to own them, which I think is the freaking stupidest thing in the world. Why the hell would I want a digital graphic when even probably I could find it online and just copy and paste and save it to my damn computer? But the one good thing I got to say about those things, though, is the money that they are getting from it. They're donating, I think, to their Make-A-Wish fund, which is going to go to help children out there and live out their dream, which is nice. So then it's a good thing. The digital trading card. Yeah, see, it's a digital trading card. So then they have it, and then they get traded with another. It's something fake again, like a digital currency type of deal. It's dumb.
I mean, I get the charity part of it. But
I love the charity thing.
That's a cool part of it.
So
but
I'm not
I got NFT for them. I got no fucking time for that shit. So.
There you go. Thank you, Mike Tackett. See, this guy's in the know. That's what I'm telling you. He's always on here dropping the knowledge and helping us out here.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, here we go. My number one.
I know where it's headed.
Your number one. You want a drum roll? Are we going to do a drum roll? Here we go. Ready? Drum roll. Ready?
Drum roll, bro.
And it is the National Dog Show.
Terrible.
Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Like, they're dressed up like it's a big event. Like, dude, they're dogs. And it's like you're there to watch the opera, and it's got the popular guy who's always been gray from Seinfeld, like used to date Elaine and stuff like that, and talk all proper and shit. But the dog show, like, who watches this, dude? Like, even a dog lover, I don't think even watches this. Like, you sit there and look at it, and you're like, oh, look at all these people that spend all the time and money to train their dog and make sure he's nice and healthy and fit and blah, blah, blah. And look, he can run around. And I can understand they do tricks here and there, and that's freaking great. We can also hire a trainer to do all that stuff. But a whole show about it? Like, do I need to watch this? Like, who cares, dude?
Here's the craziest
Who cares?
Here's the crazy part of it. When you look at that picture, put that picture back up.
Sure, let me see. We'll get on it.
Here's the most. What's the most insane part of this? Is look at there's a crowd behind them.
Yeah,
that wanted to show up to the live event to watch
tickets. They bought tickets to this.
They wasted their money to sit there and just stare at dogs running around. I'm baffled.
He's baffled. Look at him.
So
look at his face.
Well, look at our homeboy to the right. He's already lost. He's trying to read the teleprompter and looks like he's struggling. Mm-hmm. This dude's just freaking. He's not even talking. He's got the microphone off to his shoulder. He's like,
the dog's not even interested.
Yeah, dog is looking for the exit right now. He just wants out of there.
Yeah, that's a well-trained dog. He's not even looking at the camera.
So I mean, yeah, you're right on. You're right on point.
All right, so that's it. I got my chance to gripe. All right, there it is. There's my top 5 worst things to watch on Thanksgiving. If you guys got some more out there, let us know in the comments. We have some agreements. We've agreed. We've disagreed. Yeah. We love. We share, and all kinds of stuff.
Before we go any further, I just want to say, whoever's tuning into the show, whoever's tuning into the show right now, and you're new to the show or whatever, and you're just checking in or whatever. If you like what you see, if you like, listen, we talk football all the time, all year round. We're not this kind of one-trick pony show where we're like, oh, we're only doing the regular season, then we're off on vacation. No, we're here for you guys through and through. Free agency, the draft, trades, everything. So make sure you go ahead and follow us. Give us a follow. Make sure you share, you like all the videos and everything. Facebook or YouTube. Search us up, Football on the No Show. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That helps our channel out. It helps us get noticed more. And also, like and hit the notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. Also, on Facebook, just become a know-it-all. Listen, we got a great group of people on there, all love football. We all post different things. Very interactive. Listen, our show's interactive. As you can see, you comment in the comment section below. We're going to react to it. We're going to talk about things that you want to talk about. We're going to also react to do some things during the show that we do. And also, if you want us to follow us on Twitter, at FB_no, make sure you get at us. We are right here for you guys. Interactive. Let's go, baby.
No, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's right. Waiting for it. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Just do it, everybody. Yeah, so thank you. And it is Thanksgiving tomorrow. We said it before the show where we had the graphic. We thank you guys. What we are thankful for is everyone out there, the know-it-alls, the friends we've met.
Absolutely,
Mike Tackett,
100%.
we've known him for 4 years.
He's an
we
OG.
We never met physically, but
No,
we
not
need
yet.
to make it
Not
happen.
yet.
It needs to
It's gonna
happen. But again, all over Texas, our Houston Texans brothers out there, Tom Leiter, all the way out there in Seattle.
Albert
On the-
Alvarez.
Albert
Down in
Alvarez.
Texas.
You know, Seahawks fans out there. Brandon out there now that's with us.
Yeah.
Paul
By
Matty
the
in
way-
Florida. He is a Bucks fan, by the way, too.
Who?
I lurked a little bit on his
Paul?
profile. I'm not ashamed of it. I checked it out quick when I saw him, and he's a Bucks fan, but he went to that Jags game and
Gotcha.
was cheering for the Jags.
Yeah,
So he enjoyed that win against the Giants there. I'm sure.
Yeah,
he
and
just,
Brand-
but he's got you know he's nice. He wanted to treat me nice and not rub it in.
And Brandon is a Niners fan.
Niners fan.
the way.
Excellent. Well, they're playing good, too. And the thing about them is no
Turning
matter
it up.
how injured they get, too, they still perform. They show up week to week. You know, I
Yeah.
like what they
Happy
do.
Thanksgiving, Tom. Really
Happy
appreciate
Thanksgiving, Tom. We love you, man.
it. Tom, one of the OGs as well.
Absolutely.
The originals.
Absolutely. That's right, Joe. You know, I talk about also being thankful for. I'm thankful for our other sponsor, PPK, Paul Perry Kitchens. They joined along with us a few weeks ago. And Joe, you know, not only have they been, you know, a custom kitchen manufacturer and getting you the kitchen that you want of your dreams, now they have jumped into the closets, custom closets, closet doors, and glassware, your glass shower doors too as well. And you know, a lot of people dreaming about that walk-in shower. You've got the stone all over, blah, blah. What better to jazz it up with nice glass doors too? And it doesn't even stop there. Like you all of a sudden, I got kids, they get crazy. They all of a sudden blow up my front window in my freaking house. I'm going to be pissed off. You know, but it's probably going to take me weeks to get that shit fixed by some other guy that I got to get in here, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I just go to Paul Perry Kitchens down there. They've got the glass repair, and they've got, you know, stuff they can take care of me and put the same type of good preferred glass to get in there, replace it for me by the professionals, get it in there quick and easy. I don't have to wait for some dillweed to ship and all this other crap and blah, blah, with what we got going on. They take care of you. That's right, Paul Perry Kitchens. They're on Freeman's Bridge Road as well. Go to PPK, paulperrykitchens.com today and check it out, or stop right there on Freeman's Bridge Road. Talk to my buddy Chris.
Really, really quick, I also want to say, and excuse my manners, for all the podcasters out there
Oh, yeah,
that have
that's
been
right.
listening to our
Sorry,
show.
guys.
We're really thankful for the people that follow us, that listen to our show. Really appreciate the support out there. Listen, I know, like, because you're not able to be interactive with us in the comment section or whatever, it's kind of hard for us to see where you guys are and get your perspective, your opinion on some of the issues that go on in the NFL and your teams as well. But really, thank you guys. If you're new to listen, you can follow us on any podcasting platform. We are all over the place. You know, what are we? We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on all of them. So
Google
make
one
sure-
too, whatever that one is.
Oh,
Not
yeah, that's
Google
right.
Play,
Google
or
one.
Google something.
Make sure if you're new to the show and you just follow us. Go ahead. It helps our channel grow, just like anything else. So,
Absolutely. More updates. We're going to get to the next part, the picks, but I just want to bring up, too, everybody local here. Sorry, Tom and all them. But you guys can check it out, too. Our guy, Tom Gozlowski, who runs Godzilla Media that we're part of, he has a show, him and Jeff Levac, that's called Levac and Goz. December 10th, they're going to be broadcasting live from Hooters in Albany, 5 to 7, and then after, we're having a Christmas party for us here. So Godzilla Media is going to be in the house at Hooters that Friday, December 10th. we're going to have our Christmas party afterwards, but that doesn't mean that you guys can't show up, especially during their broadcast, 5 to 7. Come down, check it out, say hi to us. We want to shake hands with you guys. We want to say hi. We want to chill and spill a beer. Heineken's going to be doing specials. D. Crescenti is sponsoring the event, too. They're doing all kinds of Heineken specials down there, too. There's going to be food specials. You'll get to see us. You'll see Levac and Gaz. And also, bring an unwrapped toy, and you donate it. That puts you in the running to win a $150 shopping spree card. And then also, the runner-up will get $150 to spend at Hooters, too. So you want to get $150 worth of food to get at Hooters. I mean, that sounds like a good time to me, too, as well.
Two ways to win.
December 10th, check us out there. We're going to be there. Come in and have some fun with us. Here we go. All right, Joe, picks competition is getting hot and heavy. Like I said, it was the first time this season that I actually had more wins than you, and it was only one more. So here we go. We're at 108 and 57 is where I'm at, and then Joe's here at 111 and 54. So that's where we're at right now. Joe's still got a 3-game lead on me, but it's getting tight. We've already got a different one here on Thanksgiving Day. Joe, let's get right into Sunday's games now. Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals. This is divisional kind of rough them, tough them, beat up kind of matchup. These guys always play hard. There's always some kind of fight. What do you see in this one?
And this is an important game, like a lot of divisional games are. Listen, the Bengals right now are 6-4. The Steelers are right behind them at 5-4-1. So, in order for the Steelers to kind of like try to get to that second place spot, they got to beat the Bengals. They got to come into Cincinnati. They got to beat them. And you know, we've seen Pittsburgh kind of. They've been up and down like throughout the season. Like sometimes you expect them to win the game, and then they just fall flat on their face. And really, Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been keeping this team in the. You know, they've been keeping them in this divisional race. And can they do it again? Can they go into Cincinnati? Listen, Joe Burrow. It looked like the offense ran pretty well. You know, in Las Vegas, it seemed like they got the running game going with Joe Mixon. They got Joe Burrow throwing the ball to Jamar Chase and everybody else, and it looks like they got something cooking there in Vegas. Can they continue that? Let's wait and see in this game. Listen, Cincinnati Bengals are at home, and I think that's going to pay huge dividends for them. I feel like it would have been a really, you know, kind of like it would have swayed me if it was in Pittsburgh. But I'm going to go with the Bengals at home getting this win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you on that one too as well. Pittsburgh, they put up a good fight here against the Chargers here. They kept it close, but that was just even the Chargers kind of making Charger kind of mistakes that they do. Right. The blocked punt and again mistakes. But they were able to right the ship and get it done. Really, the only pressure they had was really from Cameron Hayward. And then what did you think of that punch even too on freaking Justin Herbert after, you know, and one play when he sacked him and he kind of gut punched him as he was coming up and blasted him. You see that? Cameron Hayward?
I mean, he deserved it.
Yeah, I bet you did. But Pittsburgh, again, they're really, he's been the only pressure that they can get for them. Injuries on defense, TJ Watt, but not being able to be there. It's a big factor. Yeah. And you're seeing the difference of not having an offensive line, too, altogether for them, and Big Ben getting pressured to where, you know, Najee Harris even last week didn't really get a whole lot going on.
Oh, the hit on Najee last week.
Oh, yeah.
Helmet to helmet. I mean,
he was even shaking
woozy.
his head a little bit.
Yeah.
How about that?
So, I mean, that's something to evaluate, too. Like, let's see how healthy Harris is for this game. Mm-hmm. He possibly could miss this game. If that's the case, that's it. That's a run game. Mm-hmm. You know, I understand they got, you know, other guys, you know, like Benny Snell and so forth, like Jalen Samuels or something like that. Is he still on the team? I don't even know. But those guys, like, yeah, okay, they could fill in, but they're not Najee. He's just on a different level. So
definitely.
That could be another big blow to them if he can't go.
Right. And then, so I'm getting to my point here about Cincinnati. They're at home. Again, they're a tough team to gauge. Every time I pick them, they lose, but
they
whatever.
Really are.
But I really think they can really get this going. Joe Burrow and crew and Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
I like the Cincinnati Bengals here at home as well.
And here's the thing that the Bengals got to hope for. If they can get this win now, that makes them 7-4. Mm-hmm. They got to hope the Ravens lose. Mm-hmm. That makes them 7-4. Then this division is really going to get interesting.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts have been rocking and rolling. You saw Their head coach
boy.
really loving it in the locker room. They won a few straight here. Again, like we brought this up time and time again. Jonathan Taylor is a beast out there getting it done. That's the key again. You got to stop the run here. And you know what? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their defense can do that. They did that against the Giants. Weren't able to do anything. They come off that nice win, which they really need against a soft team like that. The Giants coming into the Colts. Colts are going to try and play tough against these guys. I mean, they've got a good defense, too, on the other end, the Colts. But I just think Tampa Bay now is going to try to right the ship. And when Tom Brady talks about it, he says this is the time, this is the crunch time that we turn the switch on and get going. This is when it matters to make that push. And you saw it in that last game last week, too. He was just stone-faced. Let's go. This is the time we push. And now you better watch out because this is what's going to happen now with these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like them over the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, we got to wait and see what happens with Tampa's D-line because, Vita Vea was
Vea
not
didn't play
available
last
week.
Yeah.
Maybe he comes back this week to even increase their odds on stopping the run. Jonathan Taylor, he's been the bull in the china closet type of running back. He's just been killing it over and over. It didn't matter what defense is going up against him. He's still able to run the damn ball. And that's really the reason why the Colts have been in a lot of games. And now it seems like they're starting to try to climb back into this race. They're 6-5 right now. Titans are 8-3. They still got a little bit ways to go. They're down a couple of games, but you never know what's going to happen down the stretch. So can the Colts actually pull off this big upset? I don't think so. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to kind of do what Jimmy was just talking about, what we've been saying since the start of the season, that this Colts offense is going to revolve around Taylor's success. And if Taylor stopped, that's when they might get into problems when all the pressure reflects back onto Carson Wentz. So I feel like that's what's going to happen in this game, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to get this win.
All right, next up, Joe, we've got the Carolina Panthers at the Miami Dolphins. Cam Newton, again, gets to come out at home, out of the stadium, getting fired up after that last game when he's saying he's back. And he didn't play bad, though. Like, when I was looking at stats and trying, to look for my milk carton players, like, he definitely wasn't one of them. He played well. Just, again, the team just wasn't able to get it done here. And they're going to be facing off against Miami, and it's tough because Miami is really tough at home. They really play a lot harder for some reason. Again, that maybe it's that atmosphere, the humidity. I don't know what it is there, but they just get it going, and other teams can't go into there and beat them. But they're a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of team. Again, what team are you going to get out of these guys? Tua, he's up and down. You don't know. They just can't get Gaskin going either, too. I really thought this year he could really put a lot of numbers up, sort of like a Christian McCaffrey, not as high as Christian McCaffrey, but being able to be that runner, but then also get the catching in yards, too, as well for this team to help alleviate some of the issues that they might have at wide receiver. But hard to gauge. So what do you think in this game, Joe?
So, I mean, for the Miami Dolphins, you're absolutely right about Gaskin. I fully expected him to have like 1,000-yard, over 1,000-yard season type of, rushing season, and also maybe have anywhere between 400 and 600 yards receiving. I thought he was going to be a bigger part of this offense, and to keep defenses on their heels a little bit here. Tua, has been in and out of the lineup this season. He's been banged up, and when he hasn't been able to be on the football field, they've struggled. So now that he's back with Miami, it definitely gives them a better chance, but they're also not 100% healthy either. Devontae Parker's still hurt. He's still out. Will Fuller, who they signed in free agency, he's still out. Preston Williams has disappeared off the face of the earth with injuries and not being productive. And overall, I feel like they've just been missing so many weapons to this point that the offense has been stagnant because of it. So defensively, they've kind of came back to form from last year with everybody getting healthier throughout the season. And that's really kind of been what's holding them in a lot of these games is now that Tua's back and the defense is playing better, they're kind of in every game every single week. But now you're going up against Carolina Panthers with the Panthers being led by Cam Newton once again, a second stint, in his career, coming back to the original team he got drafted by. And this, didn't we call this before? Like we said this, if he gets signed by Carolina, this is the perfect match for him because Matt Rule's offense is kind of like that that college-themed offense where they're going to utilize RPOs with Cam. They're going to develop run plays with Cam. They're going to do a lot of things that actually help Cam thrive, like when he first got drafted. So, and you're seeing that with Carolina already. In 2 weeks' time, he's managed to come in and has been that boost that Carolina has needed on offense now that Sam Darnold's out. And then you also have Christian McCaffrey to team him up with him. It's truly something to watch on the football field. So for me, I like Carolina to continue their winning efforts. I think they're going to come into Miami. It's going to be a tough game, and I do love the Panthers' defense. As young as they are, they fly all over the football, sideline to sideline. It's going to be tough to pick against this team as long as Cam continues to play the way he's playing. So I got the Panthers against the Dolphins.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, Miami is tough to gauge here at home a lot of times, but they are suffering from the injuries. And Carolina, dude, they again, Cam Newton didn't lose them the game in that one. Just Washington has been playing just like unconscious. And they have Christian McCaffrey back now too, so that's a big factor for them too. So I think Carolina Panthers, are going to be able to get it done here as well.
Real quick, Mike Tackett, his picks
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to get to Mike.
Bengals, Bucks, and Panthers.
He said Bengals, Bucks, and Panthers. So he's on board with us here too as well. Okay, here we go. Him and I have exactly the same stuff right now. All right, here we go. And now next up, we've got the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots. And this is funny now. I think a lot of people maybe even wish that the Titans had won the game last week. Now, say the Titans win last week's game. All right, they're going to be what 9-2 or something like that, whatever it ends up being. They're going to be up there. They would have been 9-3. So they would have been there as one of the teams that people thought they were one of the better teams in the AFC. Patriots, they've been on a winning tear too as well. They take the lead in the AFC East. Now they get to play each other. Who's the better team? But now we get to see the Tennessee Titans falter here and come up with that loss. So I think there's less of an effect there, but the New England Patriots have been playing lights out again. And that's the thing this is what every team kind of would love to have, okay? It's the one thing that you have Bill Belichick there in his coaching pedigree, and he's shown that he didn't exactly need Tom Brady there. You could still win without it. And they go and draft their franchise quarterback, and this is what every team, like I said, would love to have, that he's growing week to week, and it's not hard growing. They're actually winning. They're getting games in and they're winning. He's just playing better altogether, and you see the progression week to week. And I mean, you can't ask for anything better, and that just shows you what this coaching staff can do with a young player, as opposed to one of these other guys that got drafted over Mac Jones and they're not performing well at all. And now they get to face up against the Tennessee Titans, who just come off that horrible loss. Tannehill has shown that he can still turn the ball over a lot, and this Patriots defense has been forcing turnovers. You saw it again last week, and playing lights out too. It is scary for Tennessee to go into New England right now. So I'm going to pick the New England Patriots to come out with the victory.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that Tennessee should have. I feel like they should have won that game last week, and for them to come out with an L, it's not giving me too much confidence right now. I still think they're a really good team. I still think that they're capable of winning any game. Listen, right now they're the number one seed in the AFC, which I thought I would never say. But the Titans, to me, I don't think they deserve the number one seed. If you get what I'm saying, I think as we get down the stretch of games here, I feel like they're going to start to come back down to earth. Don't get me wrong, the defense has been playing much better than last season, and that's kind of what's helping this team, win games. But going into New England and beating the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick at the helm and his coaching staff, they do such a great job of taking away your big elements, your big weapons, and with the way they've been playing, especially with this defense, how much better it's gotten since week one, it's pretty scary. And Mac 10's development, Mac Jones, the way he's been handling himself in the pocket, staying very poised like he normally is, and accurate and quick decision making and getting rid of the football. This offense is taking on its own. They're starting to get an identity. Back to the good old New England Patriots offense, how they used to run. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one. I think it's extreme. not only is it extremely hard to play in New England, but with this team and the way the Patriots have been ascending lately, offense and defensively, they're getting to be pretty darn tough to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And now next up, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Football Giants. Giants at home. But again, I would have said before this was probably a winnable game. But the way the Giants have been playing, again, just keep making mistakes time and time again to shoot themselves in the foot and not pull out some of these victories, even with all of their weapons back. You look at this every time, and it's tough, especially as a Giants fan, to look at the way that the team is, and you're like, all right, we get our starters back. Now we can finally see maybe what these guys can do together when they're on the field healthy. And it's worse. It's like almost like they play better with all the backups all together because they've had so much time together that they've actually gelled. And now all these starters haven't really. So there's a lot of confusion going on. Galladay can't get it going. Saquon looks rough. And now they have to face off against a divisional opponent where they have to face off against them in a few weeks from now, too, as well. So pretty close next to each other. And it's a Philadelphia Eagles team that a lot of people aren't paying a lot of attention to. Maybe they are now, because they've been starting to light it up. Like that last week, I think they put up 40-something points. And Jalen Hurts, where they're always looking quick to just kind of diss this guy, he has some rough edges. Yeah, he still makes some mistakes, but I'd rather have the mistakes that he makes also with the production that he has. He makes some of the mistakes that Daniel Jones might make, but he has the bigger production. Plus, he's making the plays on his legs, with his legs there. He's able to get out of the pocket and get some first downs for them and got some nice elusive moves to keep the chains going to open up some other options for them as well, even though their running game hasn't been there. Like we talked about with Miles Sanders, that's kind of been a downside for us, especially for our fantasy team when we had him. It just hasn't worked out for us there. But, the Philadelphia Eagles have been able to get it done, and silently they've crept up into this division. And now if the Cowboys keep getting on this kind of losing skid, they're right in the talk of things.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it looks like they're only down by 3 games, and we got a lot of football to play left. The Eagles have been quietly climbing this division, something that we didn't expect them to do.
No.
Cowboys, we kind of expected them to be on the top, or at least hunting for this division. They're 7-3 right now, the Cowboys are, and the Eagles are right behind them at 5-6. So plenty of football still to be played. This could change very quickly, and as all the people know, fans of the Washington football team, Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys know very well that this division is by no means decided early. This comes right down to the last week, so let's see where it could lead up to. But the Eagles coming against the Giants in Giants, it's not an easy place to play if you're visiting. But the Giants have made a lot of mistakes. Now, let's say that, with this new offensive coordinator now, Freddie Kitchens, comes in and maybe he makes an impact on just you can't change the offense. You can't overhaul the offense. However, what you can do is you can call different plays that are in the playbook. So maybe Freddie Kitchens might open it up a little bit more, not be so vanilla or conservative as Garrett was, and he's going to open this up to where that makes this Giants offense a little unpredictable, and give them a fair shot at this game. The Eagles, defensively, we were very harsh on them coming into the season. Weren't really sure how good they could be with having a weak position at linebacker. But listen, they've kind of made it work in a sense. And then for Jalen Hurts to come in, here's a funny thing: is Jalen Hurts, very young in his career, is kind of similar, not as dynamic. Don't twist my words here, but not as dynamic. But he's kind of following in the footsteps of a Lamar Jackson. Where Lamar Jackson early on in his career, he ran a lot, didn't really necessarily throw the football a whole heck of a lot, didn't understand the offense as a whole. Jalen Hurts is kind of mirroring that right now. It seems like he's getting out of trouble. He's utilizing his legs. He's getting the first downs or more, scoring touchdowns that way, and getting out of harm's way, not being asked to throw the football 67 times a week. Instead, He's racking up yards with his legs, when he gets into trouble, or he can't find no one open and he just goes. So, in a sense, we're starting to see Hurts kind of come into his own as far as mobility-wise. But let's see where this kind of leads to. Let's wait till next season and see, if he gets further in his development to develop that passing game of his. But I like what the Eagles are doing right now offensively with a lot of young receivers. Devontae Smith as a rookie has kind of really come on strong for them. Jalen Reagor's kind of disappeared at this point, and they're just not utilizing all of these guys. It seems like Devonta Smith is the guy, like he's definitely the go-to guy, the playmaker. And Miles Sanders, just like Jim said, he's like disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know what's happening there. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles coming into New York and getting a win there.
All right. Even though being a Giants fan, too, I said I'm always going to just bet against them just because that's the way it goes. I don't really have a lot of faith in them.
Yeah.
But, again, as a fan, I'll be watching the game and hoping that they can win. So then in that case, again, if I do lose in this pick, I'm not really losing out on it because we picked the same exact thing, and I'll be happy that they ended up winning. So it's a happy loss altogether. So I'm good there. It's a messed up psyche for that, but if that makes me feel better, okay? All right.
go.
So anyways, so we got the Atlanta Falcons and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Here, the Jags, they're again the team that's just not very good, but then they pull out a win here and there and they look nice. Atlanta, what the hell happened there? I thought that would have been a bit closer.
I thought so, too.
And even when it was even like, I don't think it was an exact blowout like disaster. And they started putting backups in, and he was terrible. Then they put another backup in, and he was just as bad. You're kind of like, what is Arthur Smith doing even right now? Like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
And this is why
It
you can't. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to coordinators that you hire as head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Listen, he's also calling the plays too. He's not only just the head coach; he's calling the plays and everything. But here's the thing: is like, I don't think he was that great of an offensive coordinator to begin with, and it's not rocket science when you're like, oh, I have Derrick Henry, I think I'm going to run the ball. It's not rocket science. So, like, to me, like, I'm not really sure, like, what the whole, excitement was to get Arthur Smith in as the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. But we're seeing kind of like a lackluster production from the Falcons offensively. And I get it. They don't have Calvin Ridley. He's not available. Gage is kind of in and out of the lineup. But there's really no running game unless Cordell Patterson is there. And he's been hurt, so he hasn't been involved that much. I don't know if it sounds like he's questionable to return this week. If he does, it's going to bode very well for Atlanta. And defensively, Atlanta's kind of been up and down. They got some talent on that side of the ball. It's just a matter of if their offense can put points on the board. And then Jacksonville, they're 2-8. So we all know they're doing better than the Lions right now. They got 2 wins.
Yeah, right.
But all in all, I don't care. It doesn't matter where Jacksonville plays. It's hard for me to pick them because, Atlanta is not as bad as their record, I don't think.
Right, yeah, that's the thing, too.
It seems like they're just not able to put all their ducks in a row and get it together. And Arthur Smith, listen, this is a learning year for everybody. It's a new offense. It's a new defense being implemented. So there's going to be some growing pains. So I think that Atlanta is going to come into Jacksonville. I think it's going to be a close game. It might be tight. Might end up whoever kicks the last field goal might win this game. But I'm going to go Atlanta in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, too, as well with Atlanta, again, just because how bad they have been playing, but they also still have Matt Ryan there who still has some juice in the tank, and again, Kyle Pitts. I mean, that's a nice receiver tight end to be throwing to, but he's got to be a big focal point for them. And Jacksonville, again, where's their really big, true, wide receiver, whatever? DJ Chark had gone injured early on. They just don't have the weapons, I think, offensively to just compete.
Listen, DJ Chark out for the year, all right? Then steps in Jamal Agnew, a rookie receiver who started to make a splash for himself. Yep. And now all of a sudden he's gone for the year.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, now who's going to step up? You know what I mean? Like Laviska Shenault, he's been kind of MIA. No one's been able to find him. And maybe Trevor Lawrence doesn't like throwing them. I don't know. But now that offense is losing two big weapons for them. Their running game is like the only thing they got going for them, and then teams know that. So they're going to focus on that. So let's see what they can do against Atlanta, but I think it's not going to be enough.
Sorry, I think I missed this comment earlier. I had read it, but I never read it out loud to everybody. But when we were talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, Brandon out there says his stats were similar to, if not better, the first 2 years when they were talking about
I think
Lamar
Hurts, right?
Jackson, and Jamal Hurts. Or Jamal Hurts. Jalen Hurts.
Hurts and Lamar comparison.
Lamar.
Real quick, Mike, to catch him up to speed.
Yeah, sure.
Here.
What does he got here for his picks? Brandon, let us know your picks out there too,
he's got
buddy.
Patriots, Eagles, Falcons.
Patriots, Eagles, Falcons. He's right on time. Who he picked Carolina too, right? Yep. Okay, here we go. Now we've got the New York Jets at the Houston Texans. Zach Wilson's going to start this week now, Joe. So how about that? You think the Jets got a winning chance now? I mean,
no, I don't think it's any different. I mean, listen, you don't have an offensive line. Listen, I like Zach Wilson. I just don't think he was worth that high of a pick. To be honest, I think that they could have went different direction and would have been better off. But
well, the thing is, too, when you got a new rookie quarterback, too, with the going into a new, franchise that just got the new head coach. He's a defensive-minded coach, too, as well. Not only that, so you're getting guys in there like that. That's the opposed to the New England Patriots, who have had Josh McDaniels there, Bill Belichick there. They've been there forever. They know how to coach. They have the lineage.
Right.
So going into a system on this side and then these guys on this side, two different types of experiences here. So it doesn't really bode well for Zach Wilson right away. But also the personnel that this team has doesn't help them either. They tried to get a little bit better, try to sign some better people. But over and all, Joe Douglas has failed this team. So they need to end up probably getting a new GM altogether. So what's going to happen then, too, when they end up doing that? Are they going to fire him? Or are they just going to say, it's right about, let's give him some more, years in which maybe we can get this fixed or whatnot. But I just don't think the Jets have got it, especially this year. So it's a lot of growing pains. And against a Houston Texans team that Tyrod Taylor's shown that when he's in there now, he had opportunities. And even early on in the season, he surprised everybody the first week in what the Texans were doing. Yeah. We were shocked. We thought this team was dead in the water, which they still are. But when they played, I was kind of like, whoa, what the hell was this? I was surprised.
Yeah.
And then what he did last week, Tyrod Taylor. So I think he's got the hot hand here. He's going to take care of the Jets with ease.
We already known this for a while now. Joe Douglas doesn't deserve to be a GM. We've been over this. We've beaten it with like a dead horse. And until the New York Jets organization realizes that, they're not going to get much better. Mm-hmm. Listen, I think they've gone through much more change this past offseason to prepare for Zach Wilson to come aboard to be as successful as possible. However, changes doesn't always mean success. And they did. Don't get me wrong. I will give Joe Douglas some credit in the fact that this year he went out, he spent some money in free agency, brought receivers in. A couple of them didn't work out. But Elijah Mitchell looks like he's been killing it.
Elijah Moore
has been killing it for the Jets this season. He's a rookie. He's still starting to come into his own. And Corey Davis has been kind of like a blessing for them early on in the season. If they can all put it together, they got a chance. However, still weak at offensive line. They just don't have enough, upgrades on that in that up front. Defense, running back wise, they still don't have the guy. Like Michael Carter, he gets hurt. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Tevin Coleman, still not the answer. They need a big time playmaking back, and they still have not found that yet. Not to say Carter can't develop into one, but again, they still don't have it. And just like you mentioned before, that Robert Saleh is now the head coach. He's a defensive-minded guy. His defense is supposed to be pretty good, but he's got to change his whole roster over, and that's going to take some time. It's going to take 2 or 3 years down the road until he gets the right personnel that he wants to learn his system and to have it nailed down pat. Same thing offensively, is that system. Zach Wilson is learning it. Don't know how comfortable he is yet, and the offensive side of the ball has been injured. Now you go to Houston, which is the debacle of the NFL. That organization is absolutely atrocious. Tyrod Taylor is the only saving grace for them, and they pull out a big win last week. What's to stop them now? I mean, they're playing one of the weaker teams in the NFL, a team that's still kind of, trying to figure some things out, and Tyrod Taylor's got this team kind of clicking on offense, and why not? They're at home. I'm going to go with Houston as well.
All right, there you go. He's got the Houston Texans as well in this one. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, I think, at this point. But stranger things have happened this season, though. So I think everything actually, when you think about it, isn't exactly a no-brainer because anything can happen. That's right. This week has just showed.
The Jets could easily win this game.
So, yeah, who knows? All right, now the Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos. I think this is going to be a closer matchup than some people may think, too, as well, just because Denver on the losing end, they're just under 500. And so, but again,
They're 500.
Yeah, there you go. They are 500. They're 5-5 still, right? Because they had the bye week last week, right? Yeah, that's what it was. All right, now the Chargers again come off a nice win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Almost one that they let slip away. They should have dominated that game a lot more because that was more of a one-sided game that they kind of started to lose some of it. But luckily, we don't. Especially with good teams, you kind of fight through it and you fix that and you come out with that victory. And when the time of need is on, you buckle down and you get it done, which they did, which they should. And now the Chargers going here against a divisional rival into Denver. It's going to be hectic. The crowd's going to be going crazy. But overall, I think the Chargers still a better team. And it was funny is because what we talked about last week. I know I had said I heard a lot from Austin Eckler again. Yes, and you said, well, yeah, they're utilizing me in the pass and blah blah blah, and it's working out for them. But you know what? Last week he really turned it on with the running and the passing too. Kept that going, and he was just when he got to red zone time, dude, it was just all day, bang 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 bang. See you later, Austin Eckler in the house. I like what they're doing there, and I think they could do the same thing here against the Denver Broncos. I like the Chargers.
Yeah, and the Chargers kind of found their way. They lost their way, then they came back last week.
Williams came back too, right?
Yeah, there was a sighting for one play.
One play. He had another catch before. It just wasn't a big play like that one though when they needed it though, right?
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, congratulations, Mike. Welcome back to the
and now
NFL.
you can go back in the closet. Bye.
But here's the thing: is I wouldn't be so quick to pass on the Denver Broncos. Not only is this a divisional game, they play each other pretty darn tough. Bradley Chubb sounds like he's getting closer to returning. I don't think it'll be this week. But the Denver Broncos defense has been surprisingly still okay without Von Miller, without Bradley Chubb, and I like what Vic Fangio is doing with this defense, despite what they have at their disposal. And offensively, to be honest, now that they got back Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant is back after a bye week, healthy, this offense could really contend with the Chargers. I'm going to go with Denver at home on this one.
All right, finally we have some different ones here. Here we go. What does Mike Tackett got here? Does he have Houston?
He's got the Jets.
He's got the Jets in that one. Mike Tackett's got the Jets, and he picked Atlanta, right? Or Jacksonville.
Yes,
so he's got Atlanta, and he's got the Chargers. And he's got the Jets. All right, here we go. Now we move on to the Los Angeles Rams, who they've been on like a losing skid, not looking really right. Matthew Stafford, he's almost been like the king of the pick six at this point lately too. Man, what's up with that? Yeah. So much that his wife has to defend him again at the stadium. Did you hear about that with his wife or something like that? Yeah. Would she throw? Yeah. She throw a hot dog or something at somebody? She threw something like some kind of food item or something at somebody.
She was angry.
And then she had to, verbally, she had to apologize over social media and all this other crap.
Why?
I don't get that. If you do it, you do it. I'm like, I'm upset defending my guy.
Right.
I threw something at you. What are you gonna do? You're the bigger baby then. If you're crying about what his wife did to you or said to you and threw something at you, give me a break. Come on, buddy. Yeah, give me a break with that one. Come on. All right, you're just picking on her anyways for who she is. I mean, come on. You'll talk to Matthew Stafford about it. How about that? I want you to ask him about his interceptions. All right, but anyways, the Rams, Green Bay Packers, Rams on a skid. Packers in a shootout last game. You know what I mean? Just came up short. Couldn't get it done, though. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. But playing at home, they're always tougher at home. Hopefully for them, it's going to be freezing like it is. It's getting cold over here, so over there it's going to be chilly for them. I think that's a bit of an advantage, even though, Matthew Stafford, he's played in Detroit, but they haven't played in a dome. So he's played in a dome his life. Thing. Exactly, and then now playing in Los Angeles, nice and toasty warm. I think I like the Green Bay Packers in this one, and the Rams continue their losing skid.
This is going to be interesting, to say the least, because now the Packers are missing a key offensive lineman in Jenkins. The very young offensive lineman that they've had for quite some time now, who's been replacing Bakhtiari while he was out. They move him around at guard. They move him at right tackle. Wherever they needed him, he's there. He's not going to be in this game. I think that's going to be a big problem for this offensive line to help protect Aaron Rodgers with a team like the Rams, who, good luck. You have to even when you triple team Aaron Donald, he still can get through, which has got to be pretty scary. Von Miller was kind of absent, in his debut, not really, doing that much. But I feel like in this game, they're going to turn up the juice a little bit on the blitzing. and really come after Aaron Rodgers and try to defend. Listen, they got a good defense all around. Jalen Ramsey, they got some good young talent opposite him and at the safety position. I like what I like in the Rams to bounce back in this game against Green Bay. Yes, against all the odds. Weather, Aaron Rodgers, all the above. I'm going to go the Rams in this one.
All right, here we go. And then we got the Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers. Joe, what do you got in this one? We got Brandon in the house. Hold on real quick. He says Vaughn spent a lot of time on his ass against the Niners.
Yeah.
And then exactly, I was gonna bring that up. There you go. Are you guys still going? It's like 10:30 on the East Coast. Is Russell Wilson still a Seahawk next year? I don't know. He's been very unhappy.
This is what exactly. He's been very unhappy. He's still unhappy. He's just not happy where everything is heading. I don't know if this is him just kind of hoping that they do what he wants in the offseason. Maybe he's going to wait to see if they add some more offensive line help. I don't know if it's that. It can't be because of receivers. He's got two really good ones. You know what I mean? I kind of think that he goes to the Giants. Brandon just chimed in.
Yeah.
I don't see him going to the Giants. What I do see Russell Wilson doing is kind of taking a backseat, waiting to see what Seattle does in the offseason. If they don't do enough in his eyes, I think he's going to be requesting a trade. He's going to want out. This is not, this just happened last season. Last offseason. He was flirting with that idea of maybe I should ask for a trade. He held off. They made a couple of moves. I think one was a trade. They got Gabe Jackson from the Raiders. And let's see what happens in the offseason. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Everything in the offseason for the Seattle Seahawks is going to dictate what Russell Wilson wants to do. If he sees enough improvement, he's going to stay. If he doesn't see much of anything, then maybe he'll ask for his trade, release, whatever. So, I think it's going to kind of like a wait-and-see type approach. I cannot imagine Russell Wilson moving on to another team just yet, but we've seen crazier things.
Yeah, we have. And again, we've seen that he's been upset, not only with personnel moves that they made, he wanted to be more involved with decisions that are being made too as well.
He's earned it.
I know he is not getting any younger, so I'm sure he wants to get back to that back to the big game like he was in the first couple of seasons of his career. And I think he doesn't want to waste it being stuck in a franchise that doesn't want to help him out. Pete Carroll, as Tom Whiter says, new talent when he came from USC. He won with 26 free agents. He's lost his ability to evaluate talent. Pete needs to go to keep Wilson. Now imagine that.
I 100% agree with that.
Wow.
Because that would explain a lot why Pete Carroll looks lost every time the camera pans to the sideline, or he can't figure out what play just happened or where he's at. So I completely agree with that. Pete Carroll does have to go. I think we talked a little bit about this. We touched on it last season about should Pete Carroll go or should they keep Pete Carroll. I think it's his time. It's time to move on. You need some rejuvenated, maybe even a younger coach, a guy that's going to be a little bit more intertwined with his players. But don't get me wrong, I like Pete Carroll. He all the players do love him. It's not a question of that. I just think he's lost that it factor as a coach. Like you just mentioned too, Tom, that he used to be a great talent evaluator. He used to be able to find talent. And up until I would say that he still is doing that, but not as much. You know what I mean? Like I still feel like he can still find talent once in a while. Like we hear guys come up from the backup position, they start playing. It's like, who's this guy? Man, he can really play. But Pete Carroll has definitely lost that it factor for him in terms of finding a lot of talent, and you can see that. You can see that this organization is not as, they used to be able to turn the page relatively quickly and then all of a sudden be on the on top of the division like for the very next season and kind of come back from a weak season. You're seeing that they're not being able to jump back into the race as quickly anymore, and it's showing. You got the guys getting older. Bobby Wagner's getting older. He just got a new contract. How much longer can he go? There's a lot of questions with Seattle right now, and Russell Wilson is definitely one of them, and I completely agree. I think that if Pete Carroll is removed from his duties, and they release him or whatever, I feel like Russell Wilson will stay. He will be more apt to stay. I'll say that because just by getting rid of Pete Carroll, I don't think answers Russell Wilson's questions. I feel like he still wants results, in the offseason. Make this team better, get a better offensive line, get better offensive linemen, whether it be draft or free agency, and let's go. Then I'll be all on board. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you there as well. We got the Minnesota Vikings again in the San Francisco 49ers. Here we were talking about Brandon's team. He really likes the 49ers here, playing here in the Bay. Minnesota, they've been a kind of a surprise, I think, for some people here. I know some people picked up the upset last week here, going toe-to-toe with the Packers. They're a tough team for me to gauge, but I think
right?
The San Francisco 49ers, I think they play hard. They've been playing better here with George Kittle in with the mix, too. I think I'm going to side with the San Francisco 49ers here at home. Just because, again, I just don't trust Minnesota, even though, they still pull out some of these wins. I'm not full on board with Kirk Cousins. I like what Justin Jefferson's been doing. Seems like every time I put him on, since I put him on that milk carton, he's been balling ever since.
Minnesota Vikings, they've always been there. Their team overall has been in every game. But they just don't do enough at the end to get that W. And that's kind of like where I see their whole season being. They're involved, they're competitive, they pull off some wins that we don't expect them to, but then for the most part, they just can't get it together. They can't get that. And listen, their window's closing. This is last year Kirk Cousins' contract. What are they going to do? Are they going to back up the Brinks truck to keep this guy? I don't see it. I know that they like Kellen Mond and his development as a rookie. Maybe they move on and they give Mond a shot next season. But overall, their defense has also been kind of up and down. No question is their offense, explosive once in a while. But I don't think it's going to be enough against the Niners' defense. That's kind of reemerging as one of those tough defenses once again. And now it seems like they're hitting on all cylinders at the right part of the season. Offensively, they're putting points on the board. Defensively, they're just reinforcing that lead. So I'm going to go the Niners as well. They are at home. It's going to be tough for the Vikings to go in there and get this win.
All right, here Brandon chimes in too. He says, secondary will kill us with those weapons. So he doesn't trust his secondary here by the San Francisco 49ers.
They won't need much time because your defensive line will be in the backfield and Kirk Cousins will be all flustered.
Yeah. It's hope, for them. That they can do that again. Stop, Dalvin Cook. Get him in check the best you can.
It really is hard to pick the Vikings anymore because I've kind of like the Charger game. Mm-hmm. That was kind of a last-second deal. Minnesota just barely pulled that off, and it seems like that's kind of been their whole season. They've been in games, but they just can't seem to, blow out a team or get a decisive win.
Right here, he's a Niners fan, and he says they've only won one game in the last year at home.
Until now.
Yeah, that means they have a lot of room to get better. Let's have some faith here. Let's see what happens.
I really like what the Niners have been capable of doing right now, what they've been able to do. Offensively, it seems like they're getting better. Defensively, they're playing better. So it's hard to go against that kind of momentum that they're gaining.
Exactly what he says. Finally getting healthy though, and that's the thing. That's what I've seen with this team. That's why we kind of brought up and why we have faith in what they can do.
Exactly.
We've seen them even though they have been injured and stuff like that. They seem they even play hard when they don't have everybody there. I really like what they're doing, and I think they have enough to get it done. Like you said, especially with this defense here. Now Tom is replying to Brandon here. He goes. He has big dreams. I see him going to the big lights of New York and his superstar wife seeking endorsement money. There you go. Was that about
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson? Yeah.
I don't see it because the
GM
in New York.
No, I don't think so.
The GM in New York doesn't make those kinds of moves.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it. If I'm asking for Russell Wilson, but I think that's a dream. That's a pipe dream.
Dave Gettleman is a defensive guy.
Yeah.
If Russell Wilson called Dave right now and said, "Hey, I'm interested in coming to your team next year," Dave would be like, "Do you play defense?" "No." "Oh, never mind."
All right. It was one of his trade destinations. Yeah, possibly, but. I don't know.
I just don't see it happening.
I tell you this. How about this? I think I like this scenario better. Say Dave Gettleman gets fired. They bring in our man Louis Riddick. Now, Louis Riddick has a sit down with Russell Wilson. Hey, brother, what's going on? What do you think about coming to New York Giants? I got big plans. I got blah, 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 this and this and this, and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? What about working a trade to come there? I think if anybody, Louis Riddick could maybe bring him there. But you'd have to have a definitely good game plan laid out. But especially you got Saquon there. Hopefully that can still work for you, and maybe he trusts that that's a better running back than what Carson has been doing great. Chris Carson, don't get me wrong, he's been being able to run too for them and get a nice running game. But he needs to feel that he's not the whole team. And what's the problem with the New York Giants? The offensive line sucks. And what's the problem that he has had for the last 4 seasons there for the Seahawks? Offensive line sucks. Getting sacked 50 times a year. I mean, it's no good.
I understand.
So you need to have a better game plan lined up.
Here's the thing about that offensive line is they're more of a run blocking offensive line, not so much pass protecting. So that's why they run the ball so much. And for Russell Wilson to be traded to New York, this is the reason why I don't think it'll happen. Is one, Dave Gettleman is in office. Even if he gets fired, I don't think Louis Riddick will go to New York because they've already interviewed him. If they wanted him, they would have picked him instead of Dave Gettleman. So I don't see that. I think that would be the greatest move for them, but I just don't see it happening because they've already interviewed him and they weren't as thrilled in him as they were Dave for some reason. Maybe it's because of experience. But either way, Russell Wilson, that is the type of player where he's still young enough in his career where I feel like a guy like Sean Payton with the Saints would make an aggressive move for him. I feel like the Saints would be the perfect spot for Russell Wilson right now. And then all they would have to do, because offensive line is already set, they got a great offensive line. Now they just need to add skill positions. They just need to add wide receivers. And then, boom, that Saints offense is right back up and running and killing it once again with Sean Payton as a head coach. So that's kind of like the destination that I kind of see. If he was to get moved, I feel like the Saints would – Sean Payton is an aggressive type of play caller. He doesn't – I definitely see him also as an aggressive type of coach that would go to the gym and be like, yo, get me Russell Wilson, and I'll bring you a Super Bowl.
They'd also have to work out a lot of money situations there, though, because they were also one of those teams that was over the cap by a lot this past season, and trying to get closer. They definitely have to.
A lot of that dead money is going to come off. A lot of the contracts can be renegotiated, like we've seen them do before, to get underneath. There's going to be some room. If you really want a player, what I've learned through these years of watching football, if you really, really want a player, you make it work financially no matter what.
Tom Layer says Wilson makes $30 million a year. It's $39 this year. So, I mean, that's the thing. I think that's going to be a bit of a factor. I know you can do whatever to do, but again, it would have to be Russell really involved in making those decisions and spreading out the money, maybe put it all in bonus or whatever.
Yeah, you could convert it into a signing bonus, and you're good.
All right, next let's get to the last 2 games here. We've got the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Again, a divisional matchup that's really going to be tight. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson looks like he's going to be playing now, coming off that illness. That's kind of weird. It's got him feeling dopey and everything. We're not sure what's going on with him. It's not COVID or anything, but it just, all of a sudden he shows up on the plane and he's got the head down and not feeling good and whatever. I mean, we got to see Tyler Huntley, though, like he actually looked fairly good for them. Pretty good for them, though.
But he fits that offense.
Getting the offense going, yeah, for them. But the Cleveland Browns, they're a head scratcher too. What's going on with them? They're up and down. I remember seeing Mike Tackett, by the way, again, shout out there. He showed some stats that showed that Baker Mayfield had the same rushing stats and everything that Saquon Barkley has had. And funny,
shout out to Mike for that
one. Mike Tackett, absolutely for that. I don't know. This is going to be a tough game, but I think. Oh, man. Overall, I think I trust Lamar Jackson over Baker Mayfield at this point because, again, Baker Mayfield's still playing with that injury, man. He's still playing injured and banged up. I like the Baltimore Ravens in this one.
This is a tough game to pick because not only is it a division rival, but they play each other so tough no matter whether it's in Cleveland or Baltimore. It seems like they're right on the same plane. And I'm not thrilled about Baltimore's defense lately. I feel like they've been struggling at times to stop anybody on offense, and the Ravens' offense has had to kind of overcome that in quite a few games this season. So I'm not 100% confident in Baker Mayfield and his capabilities right now. this offense is definitely has to sit on the wheels of Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's successful, it seems like the offense starts to get clicking, and then they're okay. And defensively, the Browns have kind of been up and down throughout the year. You know, sometimes they're just like shutting down offenses, and then other times they're like, where was the Browns defense to help out the Cleveland offense?
Yeah.
This game is Sunday night under the lights. You know both teams are going to come to play, and I have to side with Baltimore on this one, just because they're at home. Lamar Jackson is returning. That's going to give them another little boost of energy to win this game. And this is a critical game because they're only a game apart. You know, this division.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, the Browns are last, but at 6-5, I think it is. But the Ravens are sitting at 7-3. Or no, so they're down by a couple games. But this could really kind of flip-flop this division a little bit. You know, think about it. Bengals win, Ravens lose, they're tied. Now the Browns get a win, they're 7-5. They
This division has been all over because
amazing.
Even from where we started when we did our picks for the division, I had the Browns in first, and then the Baltimore Ravens taking a step back. You know, Cincinnati being in play and Pittsburgh being last, and we've seen up and downs throughout the season. I can't tell. There's so many Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hydes in this whole this whole season within the NFL. It is tough to read. So to see the cards being shuffled every week is pretty amazing to watch and pretty tough to pick. I'm surprised we're doing so well in picks right now this season. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. This game could go either way. Nobody can fault us for picking either one. But I'm going to go with Baltimore too, just like you said here. The way it is, just. You know, because I just trust in Lamar right now because he seems like he's in a better health, even though he's got that illness, than what Baker Mayfield has been doing. Nick Chubb, again, been the whole offense of the Cleveland
Browns. Baltimore, the game plan's got to be shut down the run.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Mike Taka says, when the New York Guardians return with the XFL in 2023, should they play at MetLife, Red Bull Arena, or Princeton Stadium? I don't know. I've never been to Red Bull Arena. I know it exists and stuff, and some of the other ones. MetLife is small.
It's got to be true.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, what kind of pull is the XFL going to bring? I mean, I think that people were kind of excited about it last time. Now the Rock has it though, or whatever, and they're moving forward. But I mean, what kind of fandom are you going to get? Are you going to be able to fill seats for certain arenas and stuff like that?
I feel like you're not going to fill seats.
Did they last play? Did they even play at MetLife last time they tried going?
I think they did.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they filled seats last time. I
don't
know how they did. They did like the lower level, right? Is only what they sold.
They didn't fill
like
seats. It was scattered all over.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely seating, every single week, and I feel like until the league gains traction, that's when you're going to start to see stadiums fill up for these games and stuff. But
yeah, so probably smaller ones, I would say, because even that would build a bigger atmosphere. If you get a packed stadium rocking, just like a college stadium or whatever, that would be better for the.
I feel like whatever stadium is the smallest with lower cost. You know what I mean? That's what they should go with, because the lower the margin that they're going to have to spend and everything, and the greater chance that they can fill those little stadiums or whatever, the better.
Tom Leiter, he says XFL, that's still a thing.
It's coming back,
it's
Tom.
Coming back
it's
again.
coming back.
Yeah,
again.
that's right. It's like that thing that just keeps coming back that you thought was gone. You put some cream on it, and it's like, it's gone.
I was actually pretty excited for the XFL the last time it was around, and I thought it gave
we had some good storylines.
Ample opportunity for athletes that were kind of in that middle range where, like, okay, they graduated from college, but now they don't have another like kind of middle tier league to go to show off their talents and maybe get signed eventually to the pros. So I feel like it's a good idea. I hope it becomes successful, and it gives other athletes a chance to keep their football dreams and their careers going.
I'm just trying to look up. So he says,
what
is it? Yeah. Oh, no, here. You want to read them off? He says, go Dragons here, but here, read them off.
I don't know if it's going to be the same deal. It might be different teams.
Well, here we go. See, this is the capacity that MetLife has. For 82,566.
Yeah, there's no way.
You can do that. So he's talking about 15,000 people. So you're not even, you're just about a tenth
Got to go
of
smaller.
the amount of people. So I would say, so he shows it right there. There he goes. Red Bull He's thinking the same way I was thinking. But see that? He's right on the same lane.
So
We're connected.
So we have,
I love it.
XFL, that's still a thing. Then Mike Tackett goes, they average 15,000 at home. Brandon goes, but wait, there's more.
Yeah. Nice.
The
The Red Bull Arena, then it's got to be.
Yes.
I got to say, the 25K, you're only
Tom.
missing about 10,000 empty seats. Maybe you get a little more this year.
Yeah, Tom, the Rock, he's part owner of the XFL, trying to bring it back. Mike Tackett, Red Bull is 25K, Princeton is 26. Yeah, that's the way to go. I would go Red Bull just because of the name, Red Bull.
Right.
Why not?
The New Jersey Generals and the USFL are returning in 2022 as well.
That's right. Yep, Mike, I remember seeing you post that, in our group. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think what's kind of bigger now, we didn't see it a few years ago, but I think people are being a little more open to some of these smaller
Venues.
football leagues, though. Not even venues, but I mean the leagues. I think there's some draw for it. I think people are really getting excited because, like you even said, you were excited to see the XFL last time, but there were some good storylines out of it, and you were seeing people getting hyped. I mean, we got to see the story about P.J. Walker doing well and other former NFL players that were playing well for some of these teams, and making it happen. They're like, wow, the XFL has a pretty good shot. And then COVID hit it again and kind of just destroyed a lot of things, and they weren't able to bounce back.
They closed up shop really quickly.
Closed everything up. Just
but like the
killed
P.J.
it.
Walker thing, I don't think anybody was really excited about P.J.
Well,
Walker
no.
until he got signed to the NFL. I feel like that was like the big difference. Like, oh, I saw him play in the XFL. That's P.J. Walker. That's, you know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the XFL has made some people, too, like he hate me and stuff like that, and then go into the NFL and be able to play. And
stuff
not
like
last
that.
long. Not last long, but, he still did all right, for the Carolina Panthers for his time. But I'm just saying right now, even when we look at the NAL, we don't have the Arena League here. We have the National Arena League now over here in Albany. It's a little different from what their former one was, a bit smaller. But I think there's a lot of buzz going on, and they keep trying to add more teams from year to year, and I think there's a draw. I think a lot of people are heading to some of these games, and I think people are a little more open to some of these other leagues other than just saying, well, there's the NFL, and then forget the other teams. We don't care.
No, I mean, and that's the thing is you got your diehard football fans. They'll probably be interested in checking it out. But until the leagues gain traction in terms of player power, like they got to develop their names. Like P.J. Walker, everybody knew who P.J. Walker was from the XFL. I mean, there was also another, like, I can't remember the quarterback's name for the life of me, but he was like a Hawaiian type of guy. He played for the St. Louis team, I think. And his name started to get, thrown around about teams. Tom, going to your point, like there was a lot more players than you think that actually got signed to the NFL after the XFL expired. A few quarterbacks, some other like defensive players got signed. I can't even remember them all, but there was more than you would think that actually ended up getting opportunities after the XFL in the NFL. But then again, didn't last long.
It didn't last again.
P.J. Walker's the only one I think.
Timing.
P.J. Walker, besides practice squads, like as far as active rosters go, P.J. Walker I think is the only one on an active roster at the moment in the NFL.
From the NFL, yeah, right. All right, now we've got the Monday night game here, the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington football team. There you go. Jordan I don't even want to pronounce it. I know Mike Tackett's on top of it. Says
Te'amu.
Te'amu.
Yep.
There you go.
Jordan Te'amu. Yep, Mike,
go.
you're right on.
He's got it. Ding, ding, ding. All right, so Tom Leiter's team, the Seattle Seahawks, who have been struggling lately. I thought they were going to be able to pull a win out last week, and I was wrong. They just didn't get enough done here.
Everybody was wrong.
Then Washington, again, they've been surprising us here. That defense seems to still be playing a little bit better, even though they don't have Chase Young. But Taylor
Sweat.
Taylor Heineke, though. I mean, he's been a guy fighting hard through all this and not really been able to be that guy, but yet really sticking with that. You know what I mean? A lot of times people had said the Washington football team, they should go get Cam Newton again. They should go do this. They should do that. We saw them taking the division before the season started when they had Ryan Tannehill in there, but he's been injured since the week 1.
Yeah, he's done for the year.
Yeah, and then he's absolutely done. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, so then it kind of we're just writing him off, but Taylor Heineke kind of becoming one of those guys, one of those locker room type of dudes that they're sticking behind this guy. And yep, exactly. And again, you see that talent around him, trying to get Terry McLaurin and others involved in getting it done. And so this is going to be a tougher game than you would think here. Washington at home, man, but again, I think there's one of these times Russell Wilson still got to get it done. I'm still believing in him. Even though, again, Taylor Heineke and Washington's been playing better, I'm going to side with the Seahawks on this one.
I believe in Russell, but it can't be just Russell. It can't be
just
him.
I hear you there.
It's the team that's got to step up. It's the defense that's got to step up.
Yeah.
It's the players that got to step up.
Yeah.
Listen, there was a couple of catches that DK Metcalf dropped.
Yeah.
You know, in that game. And they were big ones. They were for big chunks of yards. So it's like everybody's got to step up. The offensive line's got to step up. Running backs got to. Everybody's got to. So until that happens, like this Seattle team is still kind of dwindling. Listen, it's getting pretty ugly in that division for them. They're like, you could almost write them off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're 3-7 guys, and
they're on the same level with the Giants. So
and here's the thing.
Sounds like that trade works out.
Seattle's going to. I'm going to say right now, Seattle's going to miss the playoffs because when you got the Cardinals and Rams leading at Cardinals 9-2, the Rams are 7-3, the Niners are at 500 right now at 5-5. I think the Niners are going to continue to roll and try to push for that wild card spot, but you're not catching those top two teams. You're just not. And then the Niners could be right there in the mix later on. But Seattle at 3-7, that's a big mountain to climb.
Mike Tackett says Heineke also played in the XFL. That's right.
There you go.
Yeah. How would A-Rod do in Seattle if they part ways with Russ? It's a lot of the same, though. I don't like that either.
I don't think that's the same because he's a different type of quarterback. Like Rodgers is one of those type of guys that he gets rid of the football very quickly. Russell Wilson does at
I
times,
hear you there.
but Aaron Rodgers is kind of like he doesn't have the legs like Russell Wilson does. Like Wilson knows that he could get out of harm's way with his legs. Rodgers knows he can't for the most part. So even though he does create time in the pocket, I feel like he's going to get rid of the football more. He will change. He could help change that offensive, game plans. He can change the offensive play calls, and I feel like he's a different style of quarterback where it's going to change that offense play to play.
Well, he can definitely get that done, but I think as far as franchise, the same type of deal where Russell Wilson's like, I need help all the time. You hear the same thing from Aaron Rodgers, so why would he go to the same place, have that same situation? I don't think that makes any sense.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers. To go to a Seattle Seahawks when they've been...
It's not the same situation.
It's pretty close to the same thing.
Explain how.
Because Russell Wilson has been asking for help.
Right.
I mean, he's got some weapons
line.
at least for offensive line, not getting it.
Right.
So Aaron Rodgers is going to go there? Yeah, I think he can still make some bigger plays altogether with his arm and stuff. Can't run like Russell Wilson can, but... How's he going to do when he's trying to run away from guys that aren't approaching him and sacking him half the time? He's going to be injured and he ain't going to be playing.
The offense would be changed for Rodgers.
What? Because they're going to fire Pete Carroll? Then is that what you're saying then too?
No, he's just a head coach. He's not the offensive mind.
Right.
So what would happen is if Rodgers goes there, they are going to change that offense.
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely, you have to.
Tom Layer says he can't play with no pocket. I agree with you as well there too. I think it's going to be a worse
Russell
situation.
Wilson has the legs.
Yeah, to get out of the situations that they have. But I don't agree.
Go there.
I don't think he's going to do better.
Be changed.
I don't think it's going to be better. I mean, Aaron Rodgers can always make things happen because he's getting Aaron freaking Rodgers, but I think it's the same type of scenario, not situation, scenario. It's going to have the same effects. I don't think they're going to have they're going to have the same record. I think it's all going to be in the same in that aspect. It's just different routes.
It's different because of the quarterback that you'll have. He's a different style.
Well, he's a different style quarterback, but I think you're going to have the same results.
But it won't be the same offense, so it won't be the same results. You'll be changing that offense for Rodgers.
Yeah, but I
just
don't think it's I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't think it's even worth debating. But yeah,
I'm just saying.
No, I hear you.
Everything changes everything. So if you have a different style quarterback and then you change the offense, it's going to be different outcomes because the plays won't be. Listen,
I understand that.
That Seattle team is a run first all the time. You know what I mean? That's what they bank on. They bank on the run to set up the deep bomb with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. That would change when you don't have that mobile quarterback. You can't really do that much. So you'll have to change that offense to fit your current quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. So instead of running those deep plays, they're gonna have a lot more guys like leak out, like the tight end they might actually end up using. You know what I mean? And having guys come out the flat out of the backfield for Rodgers to dump the ball off to. and mix it up with the intermediate and deep pass type of deal. So I feel like the whole thing would have to change if Rodgers was to go there. Like, he's not going to come and run the same offense that Russell Wilson is running. It would have to all change.
Yeah, but I don't think he would go there because they're not a contender. So I don't think he would want to go there.
Well, Denver isn't either, and that was one of the landing spots. So, I mean, if that's the argument, that's not even.
I don't know. I wouldn't believe I wouldn't believe any landing spots that are out there. Some of the landing spots for some of these guys that they said they were going to go, they never went to. With some of the free agents that were out there. So, you can't believe what's going on there.
What are you talking? What free agents?
Like just recently, there was one that was going to come out there. Who was it? Was it the Saints? I'm trying to remember. There was just possibly a free agent that was good. I can't remember who it was, but again, it came out of the blue, and they went. It was Odell Beckham Jr. Say that he was end up being cut. There was like, Odell Beckham Jr. is going to go here, going to go there, blah blah. All of a sudden, the Rams pop out of nowhere. They weren't being discussed at all, really.
We discussed them.
Oh, we did a little bit, but again, we weren't top on the list. The Odell, see, there he goes. Tom Leiter's right there. See, yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. Stuff like that. So again, you hear things and blah blah blah, but I mean, does it all blowing smoke? Could be blowing smoke.
But
You're not sure.
but the thing
I'm talking about fits, and I just don't think even a fit is there. But anyways, so who do you got? You got Seattle or Washington? Did you ever pick up on that one? Did you pick Seattle or Washington? We got all this thrown out there, but we love the comments out there, though, everybody. We love it because especially it gets us amped up, too. We love it. But, yeah, are you picking Seattle or are you picking Washington?
I mean, I can't take Washington.
All right. So
they got Tyler Heineke at the quarterback.
Taylor Heineke, you don't know, man. You don't want to back out on Heineke.
No, listen, Washington's offense or defense, they don't have Sweat anymore. They don't have Chase Young. I don't know how they pulled it off without both of those guys in that game, but I'm not buying it. I think that was kind of like a one-time thing, and I don't see them being that dominant once again. I like Seattle. I like what they have in terms of their weapons offensively. I think their defense isn't as good, but I think their offense is going to overcome, and they'll end up getting the W there.
All right, there we go. All right, yeah, there we go. There's our picks, man. We went a little overtime, but you know what? We love the interaction with everybody, and that's what happens when you guys interact with us. We go longer, but we love it. We love talking to you guys. All of our know-it-alls out there. Tom Leiter, Mike Tackett, Brandon sticking with us too in there. We love you guys. Like Joe said before, if you haven't yet, or if you even know people out there, we know you guys are here aboard with us. We love you guys out there, but you're going to be with family this week. Go ahead, tell them about, hey, man, I watched this show. We were interactive. We were talking, had some great conversations, some arguments.
I'm surprised.
They love cranberry sauce. I hate cranberry sauce, blah, blah, blah. Come check it out. Tom Leiter says, love the show as always, guys. Yeah, absolutely love you. And, again, promote it to your friends and family. Say, check them out on YouTube, blah, blah. If those other shows are on that I told you not to watch on Thanksgiving and football's over, is spot in between, put us on. Check it out. Check these guys out on YouTube. Even some previous shows. We just did one with Lady Bills, super fan for the Buffalo Bills, which she has, what is it, shout out. What the hell is the name of her thing again? Her
Shout for a Cause.
Shout for a Cause. Shout for a Cause. That's right. She's doing some great promotions here and charities for everybody. So check that out. Shout out for a Cause, man. Check that out. But things like that. We love to promote that. We love know-it-alls that have things like that. There it is. Tom Leiter's got my back again. Shout out for a cause. Definitely donate. This is the time of giving. We just had Giving Tuesday, so everybody do your best to help people out there because there's not enough love out there. Everybody wants to, hate and erase people and blah 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 and label them this, that, and the other thing. Which just chill out. It's the holidays right now, which show some love. And what better than to promote our show right now, right? And get them to join and become a know-it-all. And go to YouTube, Football on the No Show, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to let you know every time we go live. On Twitter, FB_no. On Facebook, that you guys are here, like Tom Leiter. Football on the No Show, Football on the No, W/Jim and Joe as our page. Get some more members. We got over 620 members right here for our group. And everybody out there on podcasts, and you haven't yet, if you can't check out, the video all the time, you want to listen to us again, we're on Apple, Spotify, Google, and all the other ones. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Real quick, before you leave. We didn't finish reading Mike's picks. So he has the Packers, Niners, Ravens, and guess who? Washington football team. That's a little surprise.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But
He's
yeah,
trying to
Tom,
make a push.
Tom Leiter, he's the head guy for NFL news and
Yes, there you
updates.
go.
Make sure you check him out on Facebook. He's got a huge, and I mean humongous group.
Oh, my gosh.
Like
Yes.
over 50,000 strong. I mean, great content over there. There's a lot of discussion and debate over there as well. Make sure you check them out, NFL News and Updates.
Yeah, absolutely. By people that pretty much know football and stuff like that. There's some other guys that are a lot of homers. I'm going to call him out. Jeff Subia out there. There you go, you Dallas Cowboy fan. Just thinks everything's roses out there. But you know what? Now you're probably like, oh, man, their coaching staff sucks. Well, we lost a couple games. Dak's garbage now. What the hell are we doing? You know, the highest highs, the lowest lows. That's a Dallas Cowboy fan for you. But anyways, all right, thank you so much for joining us. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Be safe. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the company. Enjoy the football. And we will see you guys next week.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday nights for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.